Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Hot with afternoon storms, a high of 97. We do have a heat advisory. It'll feel more like 105 to 106. 74 overnight tonight. We'll have a few stray afternoon and evening storms with a level 1 risk. And then tomorrow we'll repeat a high of 96, a level 1 risk for severe storms, and a heat index in the low 100s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 380 points at 43,363.
With the first pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Cooper Flagg from Duke University. With the 4th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Con Knipple from Duke University. The Houston Rockets select Kaman Malawach from Duke University.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's what it sounded like for the trio of Duke Blue Devils going in the not just first round, but top 10 of the NBA draft last night. I'm Tim Donnelly. Graham Hill producing the show today.
What up?
I like that. Good energy from Graham. What up?
Good to be back, Tim. It's been a while.
It has. Glad to have you. Drake Powell from UNC also drafted in the first round. Handful of prospects with local ties. Still waiting to hear their name tonight. Number 2, round 2. Due to get started in just a handful of hours. We'll get started, as we always do, with the Big 3 at 3. And number 1, no surprise, reacting to the NBA draft.
Number 1.
The interesting part is Cooper Flagg was drafted number 1. That's not the interesting part. What I thought was interesting was you had so long to come up with what you were going to say about Cooper Flagg, right? It was so known. We knew it since like the 4th game of Duke's season, for those of us that were paying attention, right? Yep, it's real. Hype, real. Number 1 overall pick next year. So when you're watching the coverage, they had a couple different channels. I was watching the ESPN coverage. It was kind of interesting because I'm like, all right, let's see what they say about Cooper. This is not the surprise, right? The surprise pick when what was it? Hansen, Yang Hansen, whatever the Chinese big man's name was. When he got drafted, it was a surprise completely, and you could tell that the analysts had to reach deep and figure out what they know about the guy. Cooper, I'm like, you could have been rehearsing this in the mirror for the last 6 months. Let's see your A game. So let's hear some of it. Seth Greenberg, ESPN, former coach in the ACC, Virginia Tech most notably. This is what he had to say about Cooper on draft night.
Paul George, Scottie Pippen, a little bit of Grant Hill in him, but Scottie Pippen, he could be a play starter, he could be a playmaker. He has the ability to make shots. He's got defensive range. His feel for the game, his competitive spirit, his understanding of taking what the defense gives him, impacting the game defensively with his length. Like I call it defensive range because of his length, his 7-foot wingspan. To me, it's absolutely, he impacts the game on both ends. The guy is so versatile, but he never chases it. He takes everything the game gives him. He takes over games without having to take over games. He takes over games sometimes by being a play starter, sometimes by being a playmaker, sometimes by being scoring, sometimes by getting post-ups or getting a defensive rebound and initiating a fast break. That's who he is.
That was a lot of words, man. I'm not 100% sure, and I pay attention to everything. I'm not 100% sure I know what the difference is between a play starter and a playmaker.
I'm going to be honest, I kind of got lost in the whole Scottie Pippen comparison. That's what I felt like that was supposed to be the meaning of that soundbite, but I just never really got it.
Scottie Pippen, Paul George, Grant Hill. What parts of each? Listen, Cooper right now is everybody's imagination running wild. He's Jason Tatum, but bigger. He's Kevin Durant, but more polished at an early age. It's getting crazy. He's Scottie Pippen, a top 50 player of all time, mixed with Paul George, had a 3rd in MVP season. Grant Hill, who was the guy that was supposed to replace Jordan before injuries ate away at his career. And all of that, and he'll turn 19 sometime in late December. It is a crazy, crazy moment right now for Cooper Flagg.
And people are already asking, it's a fair question to ask. Are the Mavericks set up to win the NBA Finals next year? I'm not saying that just because, Cooper Flagg's going to turn everything around. They have a lot of veteran players. They have a good core. And also, outside of the Thunder, where's really the competition in the Western Conference?
Can you imagine if they actually got the type of return for Luka Doncic that they should have?
Oh, the reaction from the Carolina fans would just be phenomenal. Well, not phenomenal for them, but just hilarious to see them react to that.
If they had like the 4 more first-round picks coming in the next couple of years that they should have coming for Luka Doncic. That's number 1. Number 2, we have some updates on one of the biggest, if not the biggest, apple of the eye of Carolina Hurricanes fans. Of course, we're talking about Mitch Marner, Pierre LeBrun, TSN Hockey Insider. Many of you turn to him for breaking news in the NHL. He's non-committal on if the Hurricanes are on Mitch Marner's desired list as he enters free agency.
Carolina would love to be all in on Mitch Marner. Remember that they tried to trade for him at the deadline. I just don't know that Carolina would be on Marner's list. In fact, I don't think they are right now, but that could change. Columbus, a team out of left field that has the most cap space in the whole league, Jay. They would like to get in on it, but again, I don't know that they would be a team on Mitch Marner's list. Probably won't be. So again, still developing. There are teams that will come out from obscurity on this too between now and next week, but that's a start.
Here's the thing. Mitch Marner is, let me make sure I get it exact, because I said somebody was 6 months older than they were the other day, and I heard about it. He was born in May of 97. He is 28 years old. I know he's entertaining, or at least the reports are, he is entertaining a shorter deal, something in the 3 or 4 year range. If he takes 7 years, If he wants the max, right? If he wants $14 million by 7 years, right? If that's what he's chasing, then I do think Carolina will be on the list. If he's looking for 3 or 4 years, I don't think Carolina will be on the list. And here's why. The style of play that the Canes play is not going to boost your stats in a way that will, when you're 32, give you another chance at breaking the bank. However, if you're going 7 years, you're 35, 36, you just want to be winning at that point. And as long as you are winning, you'll get your 1 and 2 year deals through the late part of your 30s. Right? You got to think, as much as fans want to think about, like, and it's the same thing in college sports, win one for the team, loyalty, right? You want to go somewhere, you want to be part of the community. You do have to think about this in a business sense a little bit. And just by the nature of the way the Canes play, no disrespect to them, I love it. I think it's really fun to watch. I think it makes an exciting game. I think they're good at it. If it holds Mitch Marner back from 8 goals a year, not 30, right? If it makes him a 35-goal scorer instead of a 42-goal scorer, 43-goal scorer, if 3 years from now he wants to hit free agency, that's a very expensive 8 goals a year. But if you're going the full 7, take the money from the highest bidder. If that's the Canes, that's the Canes, and then you figure it out later. So that's basically what I believe it is. If he gets a deal, if he's looking for a deal in the 3 to 4 year range and he gets that from someone else, there you go. You got what you're looking for. If you're looking for a 7-year deal, then you bring the Canes into the mix. That's my take. That's number 2. Let's hit number 3.
Number 1.
Oh, did that backwards.
Number 3.
There we go. It's my first time doing the big 3
It
at 3.
is. The big 3 at 3 goes 1, 2, 3. The starting 5 goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know why we do it that way, but we do. Maybe to make it more difficult on fill-in producers like Graham. NBA draft day 2 is tonight. I'd argue this is the more stressful day. Day 1 is celebratory. Day 2 is stressful. And here's what I mean by that. There's a handful of guys that we've tracked over the last year and plus in some cases due to their connections to the area. Tyrese Proctor from Duke, according to ESPN, 13th best player available. Sion James, 15th best player available, according to ESPN. Hunter Salas, hoping to hear his name called out of Wake Forest, 25th best player available. The reason why it's more nerve-wracking is, A, obviously, if you don't hear your name today, you're not going to hear it. Yesterday, it's like, all right, you're not picked 30th. Maybe you'll be picked 34th. Like, it's not that bad. Also, fit matters so much more in day 2. And the reason being, from my perspective, is if a first-round pick ends up with a bad fit, and there's a billion things, right? There's the roster doesn't really have a spot for him. The coach doesn't like him personally as they get to know each other. He gets into a fight with the star player on the plane about cards. He starts off in a shooting slump, and then everybody bails on him after the first month. If a first rounder has a bad fit, either A, that team, right, the GM will come down to the coach and go, no, make it work. We invested a lot. So they try again and again and again to make it work. Or B, some other team says, he didn't fit with you. Get on over to us, and we'll trade you something good to get a chance at it. So day 1 picks, the fit matters. Don't get me wrong. You want to hit the ground running, but if it doesn't fit well, you get more bites at the apple. Day 2, same thing, right? You show up. I don't know, your coach went to Ohio State and you're from Michigan. Like, it doesn't vibe. There's no guarantee that shot's going to happen again because second-round picks are expendable. And if you don't think second-round picks are expendable, look how many, like dozens of them, are thrown onto the end of every trade. So, they are trading player A for player B and 3 first-round picks. The team receiving player A will also get second-rounders in 2026, 2027, 2 of them in 2028, 4 in 2030, and 9 in 2075. The second-round picks, they're expendable. So you want to hear your name called today, but more importantly than going like 4 picks earlier, you want to hear your name called to the correct team today. That's what you're sweating out for Proctor, James, Salas, and others hoping to hear their name called. And Maxime Reynaud from Stanford. One of the players I thought was going to rise in the bottom half, back end of the first, still available. ESPN's number 1 best available, but still, I think he'll be a steal at the top of the second. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That was the big three at 3. We did talk about the first round. We talked about Cooper Flagg going number 1. We talked about Duke with their 10 or 3 top 10 picks, but they were not the big winner of the first round of the NBA draft. The big winner of the first round of the NBA draft, the North Carolina Tar Heels. I'll tell you why coming up next.
Triple play, triple play, triple play. 3 ways to win on every scratch-off. They're like a 3-man wrecking crew of winning potential smashing into your bare hands. Triple threats of cold, hard cash. Prizes up to $1 million. 3 times the play, 3 times the thrills, and 3 ways to win. Triple play from the North Carolina Education Lottery with triple action-packed chances to win.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.84 to 4.79. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Big winner of the first round of the NBA draft, UNC, Tar Heels. I'll explain why in a second. The first thing we have to address is the most confusing part of the NBA draft. The hats. What? If you watch the NBA draft, first of all, you already know what I'm talking about. If you didn't, I'm going to explain something to you that makes absolutely no sense. In the NBA draft, when a pick is traded, okay, so the team picking 12th trades up to pick 8th, and the team picking 8th moves back to 12 and picks up a future pick. When that happens, for some reason, the NBA still announces the 8th pick as if the original team that had the 8th pick made the pick.
Yeah,
and they give the hat of the original team to the player, and they have to go do the interviews all about playing for the team that traded up for the pick while wearing the hat of the team that traded away the pick.
There was a couple of times last night where I kind of zoned out in the later rounds. And
yes.
Something like this happened, and they would come out on stage, and it's like, the Phoenix Suns have traded this pick to the San Antonio Spurs. I'm just paraphrasing there, but they would like come out in the Spurs hat still, and I'm like, what just happened?
The thing, like I had my son I had to put down to bed. I had my daughter who's 4 months old was a little testy in her sleep, so you got to go deal with that. And I came back in one time, and Walter Clayton, the shooting guard or the point guard from Florida, national champ, was drafted, and he was giving his interview. And I was like, oh, wow, he went earlier than I thought. I think he went 18th. Who'd he get drafted by? And then he turned towards the camera, and he was wearing a Wizards hat. And I was like, wow, Wizards, he's going to have a chance. He's going to have a chance to get a lot of shots up. And for, I don't know, a half hour, I was happy. He was drafted by Utah. He was already traded. He knew Utah at that point in time. It was just the hats. I don't know why in every other league, like you watch the NFL draft, Roger Goodell walks up, this pick has been traded to the Minnesota Vikings, And with this pick, the Minnesota Vikings select. It's the I don't know, the dumbest thing in the world. They make you walk around wearing the wrong hat. Like, that's the picture, you know, I hate to say it, right? But some guys don't have super long NBA careers. For some of them, that's the picture they're going to, like, get framed in their house. So, oh, yeah, remember when I was drafted by the Wizards?
About to honor the Phoenix trade of it?
I never played for them, not even once. I was the away team there a couple times. Like, that's, I don't know, it's so confusing to watch. And if you go to, like, ESPN right now, it still says, like, the player drafted by, and then in little underscore it says traded to. And I'm like, oh, my goodness, just say who is he playing for? Rant over. Now let's get to the good part. Big winner of the first round of the NBA draft, North Carolina Tar Heels. Because with the 22nd pick, you ready? This is exactly what I'm talking about. The Atlanta Hawks selected Drake Powell. Matter of fact, Graham, go ahead if you have that audio and fire it for the people.
With the 22nd pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Drake Powell from the University of North Carolina.
Now, you want to know the real funny part? After my whole rant, he was drafted with the 22nd pick by the Brooklyn Nets. So he's actually a Net. Drake Powell, 5-star, 6'6", springy athlete, wing for UNC. After a freshman year, which was up and down, was drafted 22nd overall. It's not a lottery pick, but it's definitely not clinging to the first round. That is a first rounder, right? It's not 29th pick. It's not somebody taking a flyer on the 30th pick. It's the 22nd pick. First of all, great night for him. Okay? I mean, I'm sure players like to say and pretend, and if you were to ask them, like in a media question, you would get a buttoned-up answer about they don't pay attention to mock drafts or analysts or anything like that, when in fact, Drake Powell was mocked from where I can see, all the analysts, right, the experts, quote-unquote. Basically, 22nd was the highest I saw him mock drafted, all the way down to 37. So going into the night, he's hoping for 22, prepared for tonight 5 picks in.
Yeah.
Like that's what your agent is doing, right? Hey, I really think we're going to get you in the 20s. I really, early 20s is a definite possibility, talking to a few teams, but if it doesn't happen, stay calm, right? Keep communicating with me. We'll be all right. We'll definitely get you picked up at least a handful of picks into the second round. But he goes 22, high end of his range. And not only is it a great night for him monetarily, big difference in salary between 22nd pick and like 33rd. Not only is it a great night for him there, it's a team that is going to play young guys. They had 5 first-round picks last night, the Brooklyn Nets did. But also, it's a clapback for the Tar Heels. The Tar Heels are dealing with this stigma. Hubert Davis is dealing with this stigma. The last 20 years of UNC is dealing with this stigma that they aren't developing NBA players. And it's not wholly inaccurate, okay? They haven't had a top 5 pick in the last 20 years. The last all-star in the NBA from UNC was 2007 Vince Carter. Who's the best player in the NBA right now from UNC?
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is Hubert Davis's first player that he's put into the NBA, correct? Or am I thinking there's got to be someone else in there, but why?
Into the NBA first round for sure. I don't know if there are guys that have grabbed some, like Harrison Ingram was a second round pick last year?
Okay.
Maybe.
Forgot about Harrison Ingram.
I'm just going off the top. I don't know if I think he played a little bit. Anyway, they haven't had a first round pick in a very long time, or a top 5 pick in a very, very long time. Haven't had an all-star since Vince Carter in 2007. That's like Vinsanity level Vince Carter. They haven't had there's one other. Oh, who's the best player from UNC in the NBA right now? Like, we're probably splitting hairs between like Kobe White, Harrison Barnes. Yeah. Like how far are you going, right? And maybe I'm missing somebody, but I'm saying it's not wholly inaccurate, but it's still not something you want to have to answer over and over and over again, and I assume in recruiting. Right? recruits are becoming more honest, but I think this was always the case. Recruits are saying, like, I'm going to somewhere. I want to pick a school that sets me up best for the next level. I'm going somewhere that sets me up best to achieve my ultimate dream of playing in the NBA. And if you're recruiting them at a UNC and they're going like, these other teams that have offered me, they got MVPs and top picks and lottery picks and all this stuff, and you don't, why would I trust you to put me into the NBA? And if Drake Powell would have went 37th, if Drake Powell would have went 34th, if Drake Powell would have went even 30th, like the last part of the first round, you would have had 2 5-stars coming in last year that were on most mock drafts in the first round for most of the first half of the year, Ian Jackson and Drake Powell. One would have transferred to St. John's, and one would have tumbled nearly or out of the first round. Instead, he went 22nd overall, which is high enough to go, we'll put you in the first round. Just look what we did with Drake.
And just to draw the comparison, I know a lot of people were saying how, Cooper Flagg's going to a Dallas Mavericks team that already has 2 Duke players on it, a.k.a. the Brotherhood. Out of the 6 former University of North Carolina basketball players in the NBA, Drake Powell is getting to go to a Nets team that has Cameron Johnson and Day'Ron Sharpe on them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of the connection there that I'm sure, not that he needs to be taken under somebody's wing, but there's definitely room there for somebody to mentor him.
It's a opportunity for UNC to have an answer to what I believed was probably the toughest question for them to answer. Because the other part about it, and we talked about this the other day, the last 20 years they've had a top 5 pick. Duke has had, I think, 9, and now they're up to 11.
Yeah.
But guess what? They each have, I believe, 2 national championships, right? The success hasn't been necessarily different. So you can, like, UNC had answers for most questions aside from the NBA stuff. So, no, we're still good. We still win. We still have ACC championships. We still have people that became famous. We still have All-Americans. We still have jerseys going in the rafters. We still have ardent fans and supporters. And the thing they were lacking, and still are to an extent, is the NBA production. And it would have gone to level 10 if Drake Powell tumbled. So the fact that he didn't, right? He kind of went at the top end of his range, maybe a little higher than some expected. That's good.
And going back to the pride factor for head coach Hubert Davis, there was a video posted on UNC basketball's social media accounts today of Drake Powell coming back to Chapel Hill from last night, because I guess Hubert Davis basketball camp is going on right now, and he was actually there to speak to some of the youngins that are there right now. But now Coach Davis has that chance to maybe call on Drake Powell, Harrison Ingram, like we just talked about during a recruiting visit, and actually has proof and an example to bring to recruits saying, hey, I can develop NBA talent. This is why you should come play for North Carolina.
Powell and Hubert are also, I don't know if they're technically cousins. I think Powell's grandma is Hubert Davis's aunt or something like that.
Forgot there was like some family tie
So,
there.
hey, it's all in the family. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Big winner, UNC. Enjoy. Celebrate another first-round pick in the storied history of your program. 22 overall. Higher than expected. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the Dean's List coming up next. A couple unusual, but I think pretty darn fun options for the Dean's List. Stick around.
What sounds like a fun weekend?
Let's rent e-bikes and have a picnic.
What does not sound like a fun weekend?
We need to fix the gutters. Let's make 6 trips to the hardware store and still end up with leaky spots.
Preserve your weekend, your home, and investment, and call Preserve Services instead. Our Preserve team excels in interior and exterior painting and home repairs. We're your one-stop shop in the Triangle for jobs you need done, but don't want to tackle. And get this, you don't pay a penny until the job's done. Schedule today at preserveservices.com.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Down on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. T&Cs apply.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing Mountain Dew. Yes, give me my good friends. Give me that dew.
Grab some ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Join us at Cocoa Booth Amphitheater this 4th of July. Enjoy patriotic music, kids' activities, and fireworks, all with free general admission.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-474-1867. 800-474-1867. Again, that's 800-474-1867.
The Houston Rockets select Kaman Malawach from Rumbek, South Sudan, the NBA Academy Africa in Senegal, and Duke University.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's what it sounded like for Kaman Malawash. 10th, going to the Suns in a trade. I think I got that right? Yeah. Suns have it tight, by the way, because the Suns also traded for Mark Williams. So they just love their springy 7-footers from Duke.
Or they just see some big man.
They said, well, we need one. Yeah, you know what?
That looks good.
Let's get two.
Yeah.
Let's get two. Just in case, right? It's my favorite shirt. Just in case I spill something, I'm bringing two of them.
Is there a discount if I acquire one?
There you go. Yeah, is there a is it BOGO?
2 for 1 special?
A little BOGO, a little buy one, get one. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's open up the Dean's List. Actually, that's a solid intro to my first Dean's List. Kaman Malawash picked up a basketball for the first time like 6 or 7 years ago. He's from South Sudan. He goes top 10 in the draft. Cooper Flagg, the number 1 overall pick. He's a kid, this is not an exaggeration, from North Maine. And he was easily the best basketball player going into this draft.
I didn't know the Maniacs or Mainers or whatever you want to call them.
They call them Mainers.
I didn't know they could get down and party so much like they did in the background of Marty Smith's live hits from last night.
The Mainer, the myth, the legend. So you got South Sudan picking up a basketball 7 years ago, whatever it was. You got North Maine as the best basketball player in the draft, and neither of them were the most out-of-nowhere story in the draft. So for the Dean's List, I'm giving Willamette University. And I hope I'm saying that correctly. I've pronounced it Willamette in the past, and somebody's corrected me. So I think Willamette is the way you're supposed to pronounce it. Because Cedric Coward was drafted 11th overall to the Blazers. Now, Cedric Coward is a name we're familiar with because he did commit to Duke this offseason. He hit the transfer portal and declared for the draft at the same time. His transfer portal decision, he committed to Duke. Never got there. Went to the NBA Combine when his name was still in the draft. Got fantastic reviews. Decided to stay in the draft. He was drafted 11th overall. Now, there's a lot of jokes about Duke claiming him, right? About Duke's got 4 guys in the top 11 picks because they're including Cedric Coward. Obviously, and I hope those are all jokes, right? Duke can take credit for a lot. They can't take credit for Cedric Coward. Willamette University should, though. When Cedric Coward came out of high school, it was weird COVID times, all that kind of stuff. He didn't have anywhere to go to play basketball. So he played Division III, Willamette University. Eventually transferred to Eastern Washington, eventually transferred to Washington State, played 6 games there, announces his transfer to Duke, goes to the NBA. That's the story. But I don't think people realize how crazy this Willamette story is. The last full season before Cedric Coward got to campus for Willamette in Division III, the Northwest Conference, they went 1-24. So not only did he go to Division III, he went bad Division III. And then he averaged his only year there, his freshman year, 19.5 points and 12 rebounds per game. He was Conference Player of the Year, first team All-Conference, and he helped them improve from 1-24 all the way to 6-18. He played on a bad Division III team, but they had the vision. They were the ones that saw something there. 4 years later, 3 years later, whatever it is, the dude is the 11th pick in the NBA draft. You're darn right. Willamette University should be super proud of their guy, right? And that this is my new stance. If I were running for something, this would be on my campaign platform. The school that gets you out of high school should be able to claim you just as much as the school that you end your career at. All right? So, right, when they put out their graphics and everything of, oh, this many players go to the NBA out of our school, and it's a whole bunch of transfers that played there for 1 year. You were on campus for 4 months, and they really built up all of their value at some other school. Great. You get to claim them because you were where they finished. But I think the school that recognizes your talent out of high school and recruits you should also be able to claim you. So somewhere I hope there's a Willamette graphic being sent around about, look at that, we produced a first-round pick. Iona with Walter Clayton Jr., who transferred to Florida, won a national championship, like All-American, goes pro, he's a first-round pick. Iona saw him first. I feel like it's that song that every father-daughter dances to at weddings, like I loved her first. Iona should be sitting there like, I loved him first. I loved him first. More Dean's List. The hat tip to Graham. Actually, no, we'll go to this one first. Dean's List. The first round of the NCAA tournament, first and second round, that took place in Raleigh. The Lenovo Center hosted first and second round of the NCAA tournament. I was sitting watching the draft with my wife last night, and it seemed like every player drafted, I went, oh, yeah, saw him at the Lenovo Center for the first round. Oh, yeah, saw him in person. These are the players that were in the triangle for their first and second round of the NCAA tournament. First overall pick, Cooper Flagg with Duke, went to the Mavs. Third overall pick, VJ Edgecombe with Baylor, went to the Sixers. He played against Cooper Flagg and Duke. Fourth overall pick, Con Knipple out of Duke, goes to the Hornets. also in the Raleigh first 2 rounds and played against VJ Edgecombe. Jeremiah Fears, Oklahoma, had his one-and-done experience in the NCAA tournament. Got drafted to the Pelicans with the 7th overall pick. So 1st, 3rd, 4th, 7th. Obviously, Malawash, another Duke player. 10th was at the Lenovo Center for his first and second round of the NCAA tournament. Walter Clayton Jr., who I've referenced a few times, the eventual national champion Florida Gators, started their NCAA tournament right here in the Lenovo Center. Liam McNeely, UConn. Remember, Danny Hurley was yelling all kinds of crazy stuff in the hallways at the Lenovo Center. That was after he coached Liam McNeely of the Hornets. 29th overall pick. If you just, as you should have if you're a sports fan, said, NCAA tournament's going to be right here in our backyard? Oh, I'm going to go to as many games as I could. Let me try to buy tickets. If you did that, you would have seen the 1st, 3rd, 4th, 7th, 10th, 18th, and 19th pick in the draft, all within 48 hours of each other.
That's a heck of a nugget. I remember Max Gordon, who you've gotten familiar with on this show. After the NCAA tournament first 2 rounds, I was filling on Next Up with him, and I came out and said, Max, I think out of the destination sites for just the round of 64 and round of 32, Raleigh definitely had the premier spot just because of all the talent and just the historic teams that you had there. And they had the national champion.
And they had the national champion. And if you include the second round, right, Proctor and Sion James from Duke, both still very much in the mix to get drafted. Let me scroll through, see if there's any other. Florida, Elijah Martin is 28th best available, another guy that came through this part. So you could end up seeing, not an exaggeration, like double digits of draft picks all in 48 hours in the same building if you just went. Yeah, I'd say we had the best one.
So NCAA committee, if you're listening to the drive with Tim Donnelly, which you should be, keep sending it here. Keep sending it to the Lenovo Center.
Just it's something in the triangle. I don't care which location.
It's called the Hoop State for a reason, folks.
Somewhere in the triangle. I got time for one more here, don't I? You're darn right I do. Hat tip to Graham on this one. He sent it to me. Duke football. Go follow Duke football or just check it out. If you're not a Duke football fan, you don't have to follow them. But go check out their Instagram. They had a superhero themed lift.
The context was I was at lunch eating my Jersey Mike sub, and all of a sudden I see a Duke football player with the Joker face paint on him, maxing out, and I'm just thinking, what on earth are they doing over there at Wallace Wade Stadium?
Here's my thing. Here's why they're on the Dean's List, and I'm not making fun of them. Although, if you wanted to, I would get it. If you wanted to make a few jokes. They got the face painted like the Joker. They've got the Batman mask on. They've got but they're moving weight if you watch the video, right? They do have weight on the bar. I'm going to say, if you're a Duke football fan, hear me out. And if you're not, listen to the first part and then bail.
Bulletin board.
It's dumb and it's corny. But they were into it. And anything dumb and corny is only dumb and corny until everyone buys into it. Some of the best cultures in athletics that I've been a part of, if you had to describe the things that united the team in words, you had to be there. I know it sounds dumb, but you had to be there. I don't know, we were really into it. You had to be there. Right? Pink Pony Club from the Panthers winning the Stanley Cup. It's like, yeah, you just had to be there. I'm going to turn off my mic so that camera goes on.
Yeah, I need.
If you're watching on YouTube,
I need the camera to come to me. This is what popped up on my screen at lunch. It's not very clear.
I don't know how to make
that.
But
I mean, it's they basically did superheroes versus villains, and they had a max weight competition.
But the point that I'm giving them credit for is the video showed a lot. It was it happens in weight rooms in college football if you're unaware. On max squat day or on days where you're trying to reset your new max, you're trying to hit a heavy double or whatever. Everybody kind of gathers around the squat rack of somebody that's going for it, and they hoot and holler and they scream and they emotionally help you get the bar up. They were doing it. They were moving weight. So if it works, it isn't stupid. You know what I mean? Or I'll use a different analogy. I have two more analogies for this one, actually. One's kind of on the nose. I don't know why. I was scrolling, got caught doing what everybody does, right? Just scrolling through social media, wasting time. And I saw what I thought was the dumbest high school prank in the world. You know the high school, like, hey, senior pranks. I thought it was the dumbest one in the world. They called it bathroom party. And all it was, yeah, trust me, it's not bad. All it was the senior class picked different bathrooms on campus, and at like 11, they try to pack 200 kids into one bathroom, and then they just pile everybody in. And I was like, but they were having a heck of a time, but I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Teachers would come, get out, and then they had it all pre-organized. As soon as they all got out of that one, there were 200 other kids somewhere else on campus trying to pile into a different bathroom, and they called the bathroom party. And I was sitting there, and all I could think was, if somebody tried to organize this at my high school, the amount of absolutely not, I wouldn't say it, but people would, like, you're a loser for trying to get us to do this. That would have been said and laughed at, but none of them were doing it. They were just having a heck of a time. And I'm like, you know what? High schoolers having fun. Why am I about to rain on it's a harmless prank. Teachers were probably annoyed, but I can get it. So, yeah, if somebody showed up to weightlifting at the University of Delaware in 2011 when we were getting after it and they had their face painted.
Like the Joker.
Probably would have been some chuckles, if I'm being real. I'm not sure we all would have got into it like Duke did, but they did, so who cares? If it helps get the weight up, it helps get the weight up. But we did have something kind of stupid. I'll finish on this. I don't even know if it's stupid. Shout out to Augie. He was our strength coach at the time. Now he's, I think, an athletic director. Super smart dude, super strong dude. He had a giant albino buffalo head. Big, we called it the Great White Buffalo. But it was a giant albino, like real stuffed albino buffalo head. And if you worked out, if you were, lifting, maxing out so hard, and obviously you forget to breathe, that you pass out or you get woozy, he would run, he would cover his face in chalk, right, the chalk that you used to lift, grab the Great White Buffalo head, and run over, and as you come to, all you would see is this giant Great White Buffalo head, and everybody would be going nuts because he respected that you pushed your body to the absolute point of brink. So he would say, like, you saw the buffalo, and it would get everybody jacked up.
You saw the buffalo?
It'd get everybody jacked up because somebody just literally worked out to the point of, like, they couldn't hold up their body anymore. Looking back, see, I just said, like, explaining that sounds super corny, but I promise you in the moment, you saw that buffalo come out, you were like, put an extra 35 on the bar. I'm going for a PR. Give me the extra 45 plate.
Not that I ever participated, but
it made no sense. So, you know what? If you got to put on a Batman cape to get the backup center to his new high in the squat, you got to put on the Batman cape. Whatever you got to do. Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There's no easy transition from the Batman cape to get the backup center, a new high in the squat, to talking about mortgages, so I'm just going to power through. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending and our guy Gordon Miller. They are the home of the no-cost loan. That means when you close on a mortgage with Miller Lending, that monthly payment that most lenders will give you the chart and say this is how much you're going to pay every single month for the next 30 years if you're getting a 30-year mortgage. That's not always the case, right? With Miller Lending, your mortgage payment, your monthly payment, is not your forever payment. It's just your next payment. Because if rates drop, no closing cost, refinance, right? No cost, no fees, no money out of your pocket, refinance, get that monthly payment lowered. So that number they gave you wasn't what you were going to pay every month for the next 30 years. If you think at any point in the next 30 years rates are going to drop below the rate that you locked in, well, refinance. No costs, no fees. Do it. No cash out of your pocket whatsoever. It's the beauty of the no-cost loan from Miller Lending that they've been doing for decades. Gordon's been doing no closing cost loans since 1987. So give them a call. Here's the number, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. Some big changes in the NHL could officially be announced as soon as tomorrow. We'll discuss the changes next.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil Change.
Hey, which way is your waiting room?
Oh, you can stay in your car. It only takes 10 minutes.
I can stay in? Get out. I better find a good playlist to listen to while I wait. EDM? Nah. Oh, what about something classical? Nah. You got any suggestions?
Dad rock?
Now you speaking my language.
Take 5. The stay in your car 10-minute oil change.
Progressive knows owning a home can be hard, but not always. Like when you're relaxing on your patio, enjoying a nice, quiet evening. So quiet. Except for the sound of the neighbor's party. Which you said you'd go to if you weren't busy. And your quiet night on the patio, that's not exactly busy, is it? Maybe you should just stay inside. At least Progressive's Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance is the easiest part of owning a home. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at Hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. That's Hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Do you have a wedding anniversary coming up? Don't just mark the day. Make it unforgettable with Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Shop their exquisite selection of designer jewelry or consider upgrading your original engagement ring with the diamond she really deserves. Whether this is the 1st or 31st anniversary, celebrate your love with something special, wrapped in a black and white striped box from Bailey's. Voted best jeweler from the Triangle to the Coast. Every woman wants a Bailey box. Visit us today in store or at BaileyBox.com.
Are you in charge of running the building maintenance plays at your workplace? If you're facing roofing issues, you gotta get RoofWorks into the game. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. You can count on us to be your MVP when it comes to taking care of your commercial building roof. We handle leaky roof repair, coatings, total replacements, upfits, and we even do commercial gutters. Let us show you what a valuable addition we are to your building maintenance team. Contact us today online at roofworks.com. That's Ruth, WERKS.com.
Now he just got a penalty. Frederick just cross-checked Bennett. Broke his stick, and now Bennett's going to get even. That was Greer and Nurse. We're just going to start seeing 10-minute misconducts getting handed out.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We could see some rule changes coming to the NHL. Now, I want to be clear on this. I don't think they're as big as some are making it out to be. I think some of these changes are maybe being hyped up because we're all craving news, and gosh darn it, no one's making a blockbuster trade right now. But Frank Saravalli, Daily Faceoff, that's kind of where I'm going with this. He was, as far as I know, the first to have the news. His sources say that the NHL and NHLPA are prepared. That's Players Association, are preparing to announce the framework of a new collective bargaining agreement on Friday. That's tomorrow, ahead of the NHL draft. An unprecedented early extension, right? I always say end of his reporting. I always say deadlines get deals done. So unprecedented and early. Love to hear that about CBA negotiations. Don't have to wait for the ticking clock to accept it. That's good. Back to Saravalli's reporting. Some of the changes are likely to include, or will include, depending on kind of where you look, an increase to an 84-game regular season in the NHL, so they would add a couple of games. No player dress code. Lowering the maximum contract lengths by 1 year. The long-term IR loophole will be closing. No deferred salary and full-time emergency backup goalies. Most of that, I think, is truly a nothing burger. right? There are things that, sure, it's like in a negotiation, right? If you've ever bought a house or something and they're like, I want to take the microwave. And you're like, all right, we're spending a lot of, sure, take the $125 microwave from 6 years ago. Like I'm not gonna hold up that, right? If I'm the NHLPA and I go, I want full-time emergency backup goalies, the league's gonna, all right, fine, sure, make it happen. A lot of this other stuff, the dress code, same way, right? The players they want to look good, I believe. I don't think you have to worry about it. The ones that I believe matter the most: 84-game regular season. Lowering maximum contract lengths by 1 year, and then to a lesser degree, the long-term IR loophole closing and no deferred salary. Part of this is acknowledging that teams found loopholes and you're just going to close them, right? The long-term IR thing where 3 of the last 5 Stanley Cup champions had players making, like $9.5 million on long-term IR right up until Game 1 of their postseason, where suddenly they were healthy enough to get playing again, and they basically had a playoff roster that was $10 million over the salary cap, at least. So, all right, touche, you found the loophole. Fantastic. Now, we'll close it, and then we'll find, you'll find the next way to do it. Same with deferred salary, right? And it's not just the Canes, but the Seth Jarvis deal makes it so unbelievably salary cap friendly that of course they want to close that loophole. It's that simple. So they close it, and then the next thing will happen. There is a saying, and I think it's attributed to Bill Gates, but I don't think he actually said it. I think it's one of those quotes that gets passed around as if Bill Gates said it, but it was actually somebody else. That if you want to find the most efficient way to do something, hire a lazy person to do it. And then once they find out the easiest way, hire a hardworking person to take their job, right? Because if I give a lazy person 10 hours to complete a task, they're going to find a way. They're going to find the loophole. They're going to find, the way they can do it while kicking their feet up, and they're going to have it done in an hour and a half, and then sit on and twiddle their thumbs for the next 8.5 hours. So what you do is you hire the lazy person, they find the most efficient way. Then you hire the hardworking person and tell them, all right, I need you to do this every 10.5 hours or every 1.5 hours, and they'll just keep cranking and cranking and cranking. It's kind of the same. The NHL and the NHLPA put out a collective bargaining agreement, and the teams are going to find the loopholes, right? And then you're going to fix the loopholes. And then the next CBA, they'll find the loopholes in that one, and then they'll fix them, and it's just an ever game of cat and mouse. I didn't think you were going to do it that way, but I guess that works, so now you're not allowed to. Okay, deal. The 84-game regular season, I think, is smart. Media, your media partners will be excited. It's 2 more games they can put on TV. Your revenues will go up, ticket prices, merchandise, concession stands, all of that. Teams will be mathematically eligible for the postseason, perhaps another week. As long as the NHLPA is okay with it from a player safety standpoint, go for it. The only thing I worry about is now records are going to be all skewed again, right? I'm so tired of the all-time single-season records having to have, and it happens in every sport, right? What is it? Babe Ruth hit this many home runs, but he did it in 154 games. O.J. Simpson ran for this many yards, but he ran for it in 14 games. It just keeps happening. So now it's going to be so-and-so scored this many goals, but he did it in 82 games, not the 84 that it took this guy. Happens in the NFL now. Right? Somebody's going to break Peyton Manning's single-season touchdowns record, but they're going to take an extra game to do it, and it's going to be a whole asterisk situation, which is why, and I've said this before, every single record should be divided by the amount of games your team plays. It should be a per-game record. If you want to break my record, you have to have more touchdowns per game. You have to have more goals per game, and not the games you play, because the games you're injured you don't get to hey, I played 10 games, broke the all-time record. It's how many games your team play. No deferred salary, long-term IR, 84. There you go. That's all of the rules changed that we're expecting tomorrow. I don't think any of them affect the Canes in a big way. I know that there is, I guess, a little bit that says you'd want to lock up Logan Stankoven if you want the 8th year, because they're eliminating 1 year off long-term contracts. If he wants the 8th year, you got to do it quickly. But 7 years, 8 years, another what's another $6 million? You know what I mean? Does your life really change when you go from having $40 million to $46 million? Is there some steak you can't afford at the restaurant on the menu with $40 million that you can with 46? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I know that's an oversimplifying way to look at it, but hey, sometimes that's the way I like to do it. We have football at 4 coming up next. Talking about Canes fans' imaginations running wild with them. Panthers fans are right there with them, meaning Carolina Panthers. Stick around. Football at 4 next.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
You'll be one smart cookie when you try Bluebell Cookie Cake Ice Cream. A sweet cream ice cream loaded with chocolate chip cookie cake pieces and swirls of chocolate and vanilla icing. This cookie cake ice cream really takes the cake.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your neighborhood Food Lion.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
A pepperoni pizza for the table. May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time.
Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Handy Hugo's has a refreshing deal. 2 1-liter Pepsis for just $3. Quench your thirst at Handy Hugo's today.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. We have heat and thunderstorms to deal with again this afternoon. Hot out there with a high of 97. The heat index 105 to 106, which means we have a heat advisory in effect. We also have a level 1 risk for severe storms this afternoon. A few of those could produce some wind damage. We drop back into the mid-70s tonight. It's still hot tomorrow with a high of 96 and a level 1 risk for severe storms.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 401 points at 43,383.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for football at 4. Idle minds are a dangerous thing. Bored minds are a dangerous thing. And it is quite obvious that NHL, even with the draft tomorrow, and NFL fans are quite bored.
And some writers also have too much time on their hands right now.
Well, they're playing into it, right? They're getting the clicks. It's crazy season in the NFL right now. There's no OTAs for us to overreact to. There's no mini camps for us to overreact to. There's no draft coming up. No free agency really to deal with, at least not much. So it is crazy season. And here's my PSA. Enjoy it if you want to. But understand what's going on. Don't take it too seriously. This all started for me earlier this month when I don't even know if I want to I don't even know if I want to put on like their names, but actually they wrote it, right? They're proud of it. They published it. Bailey Bassett from Yahoo Sports earlier this month suggested that if the Atlanta Falcons were looking to trade Kyle Pitts, the former 4th overall pick tight end, going into the final year of his rookie deal, if the Falcons were to trade Kyle Pitts because a change of scenery seems potentially positive for him, the Panthers would make sense. The Carolina Panthers. And I laughed and I joked and I said, not only would I not want Kyle Pitts, I darn sure would not want Kyle Pitts in a trade with someone in the division. But I thought, all right, that's a one-off, right? Maybe Bailey was just, he woke up on the goofy side of the bed that day and he was telling silly stories.
He was feeling silly.
As my 4-year-old would say, he's a silly goose. But then just a couple of days ago, Bleacher Report, Chris Knox, and this is cited on a bunch of different blogs, Travis Etienne, trade target for the Carolina Panthers. And here, I'm going to read it word for word. With Etienne entering the final year of his rookie contract, the Jags could erase his entire $6.1 million cap hit by trading him. Liam Cohen, their new coach, might not be eager to part with him before even coaching a regular season game. Jacksonville might be willing to dump him for a reasonable offer anyway. The Panthers have 2 capable backs in Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. They might also have some interest in Etienne. Carolina already drafted his younger brother, Trevor Etienne, in April and employs running backs coach Bernie Parmalee. Parmalee was Jacksonville's running backs coach during Etienne's 2 best seasons. Keep in mind, now this is me talking. Etienne has only had 3 seasons.
I mean,
so his 2 best seasons are also just the 2 seasons where he wasn't injured for most of the season like he was last year. Needless to say, I don't want Travis Etienne on the Panthers. You're already paying Chuba Hubbard a bunch. You already drafted his brother in the 4th round. You already brought in a 1,000-yard rusher from last year in Rico Dowdle. You don't need running backs. You definitely don't need to buy running backs in the trade market. And you definitely don't need to buy running backs in the trade market from Jacksonville.
Now I'm falling right into their trap. Just imagine what world we would be living in if the Carolina Panthers running back room consisted of Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, Travis Etienne Jr., his brother.
It would be,
who was the other one that you mentioned?
There's Dowdle, there's Chuba, there would be 2 ETNs. I think that's it. Oh, they have Jonathan Brooks who's hurt.
Jonathan Brooks, yeah.
It'd be it's dumb. See, we're doing it. No, know where you're going. Dip your toe in, but know where you're going. And then lastly, this one was by accident. So I read the Chris Knox report and I laughed, and then I decided now let's talk about this on the show, right? Let's make sure let's call out the silly so everybody knows, nobody's surprised by it. And I forgot where I had read the Travis Etienne thing originally, so I Googled something like, Panthers trade rumors. And the first one that popped up came from Sports Illustrated. Zach Roberts of Sports Illustrated wrote this about Taysom Hill, the quarterback / special teamer / tight end / running back / old guy for the New Orleans Saints.
The Swiss Army knife for the Saints,
sure.
pretty much.
He wrote this. Taysom Hill is reportedly on the verge of being cut by the New Orleans Saints, a team that has been brutally fighting with the salary cap for years. To free up space, they could cut Hill, who would be of interest to most teams. The Panthers should be one of them.
Okay, no knock to any Carolina Panthers fan or to the Carolina Panthers as to themselves, but what world would you want to live in where you pick up a guy that got cut from a team that plays in the NFC South?
And quite frankly, is a unique fit. It took them years to figure out how to use Taysom Hill, and you're just going to drop him in and be like, we need you to be a tight end. Can you block the backside on an outside zone? No. So I acknowledge, if it's just, hey, the NFL draft was what, April, 2 months ago now? And The training camp doesn't start for a month. We're in this Bermuda Triangle where you don't have if you just want to go out there and acknowledge what you're doing is just a fun deal, right? If you want to go to Vegas and you just want to, I know this isn't how I normally live, but today bottle service. But it's not you. You're just having fun. Go ahead.
You're just racking up points on the credit card that you're going to have to pay off eventually.
There you go. The credit card statement does not stay in Vegas. Or even better, Graham, because you're here, and it flows when Graham's here. We make movie references.
There it is.
Have you seen The Pursuit of Happiness?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Will Smith coming out crying in the middle of the people. It's such a great scene.
Oh, yeah. A young Jaden Smith. There's a scene where he is trying to woo a rich guy to he's some kind of stockbroker, broker, financial broker. He wants to manage the money of a rich guy, and he thinks he's wooing him. Right? They go to a football game together. They're in the box together. Their kids are playing with each other. They're talking about the Niners. They're having themselves a heck of an afternoon. And as the afternoon winds down, Will, his character, Chris, I think, finally says, so I'd love to talk to you about, moving your money over to the company that I'm interning with, whatever. And the rich guy kind of chuckles and goes we can have fun. We can go to games. You're a nice guy. The kids get along. We can do this, but I'm not going to seriously consider letting you handle my money. No, this was just an afternoon at the park. If that's what you're doing with these ridiculous trade takes or these ridiculous pickup takes or these ridiculous free agency takes, sure, right? If you're just out there, no, we're going to the park. We're gonna go catch a game. You're a good guy to throw back a couple brewskis with, but I'm not gonna let you actually make decisions with my roster. I'm not serious about trading for a depreciating asset from inside the division. There's a few moves. And I'll give you a couple examples. A few, literally, you can count them on one hand. Moves that make a bit of sense for the Panthers to make between now and training camp. If you want to go grab a veteran free safety, somebody that's available, a Justin Simmons, something like that, okay, we can talk about it, right? We can have that conversation. If the Dolphins get to such a point of no return with somebody like Jalen Ramsey, where they'll take literally a crumpled up piece of trash in a trade for him just to get him off their books. If you have the cap space, we can talk about it. I probably still wouldn't be about it, but we can talk about it. There is no world where we can talk about Kyle Pitts unless we're just playing, we're just having fun. We're doing the no. You know, it would be really crazy if we traded for Kyle Pitts. That could happen. And then other than that, if you want to grab depth, you want to grab an edge rusher, you want to grab depth piece. There's some veteran out there, or even a young guy that gets cut surprisingly from another team. You want to scoop him up. We can talk about the shuffle, the window dressing on the roster. But other than that, your roster is what it is at this point. You don't go into the offseason with, hey, we've got, these 6 things we have to do, and we'll save 2 or 3 of them until after free agency is done and the draft is done. You go into it with, hey, we got 6 things to do. We got to have answers for them by the time free agency and the draft are both over. You can't be we're Kyle Pitts away. No, Kyle Pitts. Goodness gracious. Travis Etienne, goodness gracious. And by the way, I'm at times, I've been a big Etienne fan. I think he was unbelievable at Clemson. I'm not downgrading the players we're talking about. I'm downgrading the fit with the Panthers, particularly, I guess not in the Taysom Hill case, but particularly giving up anything of value for them. Goodness gracious. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I've been doing pretty well in the ladder challenge one-on-one against Max the last week. Let's see if we can make it happen against Graham. Graham versus me, ladder challenge. Next, don't go anywhere.
Canes fans, your team will be turned upside down.
I said upside down, you're turning me. You're giving love instinctively.
Listen all week for our coverage of the Canes free agent frenzy. Instant reaction to all the Canes additions and moves and the latest signings from across the NHL. It's the Canes free agent frenzy on 99.9 The Fan. Driven by John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Get off your keister and get to Heister.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
Down on credit cards? Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Did you catch Luisito's header?
Yeah, I just recorded it on my new Samsung A36 5G phone I got for free at Total Wireless.
Oh, I'm actually live streaming the whole match with my new Samsung Tab A9 that I also got free at Total Wireless.
I got that tablet too.
And I got that phone too. We both got both.
Go!
Switch to Total Wireless and get both the Samsung A36 5G and the Samsung Tab A9 for free. For a limited time while supplies last, valid in store. Requires new phone activation on the Total 5G Unlimited plan or higher external port and ID verification and new activation on the Total 5G Unlimited 6-month tablet plan. Restrictions apply.
Is going to your local bar the worst part of your day? The bartender ignores you, mediocre food, warm beer? Then why go there? Take 5 minutes and drop in at Sharky's, where they'll give you a free evaluation, and you can learn about all the bars that you shouldn't go to. Sharky's has helped thousands find the right bar to hang at. What are you waiting for? Sharky's evaluation could be the cure to the worst part of your day. Change your bar, change your life. Sharky's, 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
With the first pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Cooper Flagg from Duke University.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I did learn last night why I should not, and usually don't, gamble on decisions. Because during the ladder challenge, I had a couple over-unders on draft picks and things like that from the NBA draft, and I just missed horribly. And that's why I usually do my best, and it's actually like I say it on the air. So I have no one to blame but myself because, there's a bunch of examples of me on record saying it. I don't gamble on decisions. I don't like gambling on what people decide because people can change their mind. I like gambling on, if I'm going to sports gamble, I like gambling on the outcomes of sporting events because I think I can predict that a bit better, and yesterday proved it. So all of my picks today will not be decisions. They will be outcomes. And that is why I'm confident in my ladder challenge against Graham Hill. The way it works when we have fill-in producers, instead of a month-long competition, although I do think I'm going to win June because I'm ahead right now against Dennis, and I don't think we're going to be on the same show before the end of the month. So ka-ching, we'll be bringing that trophy back into the host's studio. The way it works with the fill-ins, though, Graham, is we each get 3 $10 bets. We place the bets. Whoever has the most money tomorrow is the winner. As the newcomer, although you're not a true newcomer, it's been a while since you've been on the show, you get to lead off. What's your first bet?
I'm going all to the diamond today for my picks, starting with 2 games in 1. Philadelphia Phillies at the Houston Astros. Give me NC State great, North Carolina native Trey Turner. Anytime single -135 has hit in 7 of his last 7 games versus the Astros.
Okay. What's the payout?
Payout. Oh, what is the payout?
Oh, all right.
I got to do some calculation.
I like that. Just placing bets.
Yeah, just throwing bets out there.
I don't,
-135.
Okay, so not retiring the grandkids or grandparents off of it, or the grandkids. My first one, I do have 2 on the diamond as well, but I'm going to start with my hoops. I'm going to Kelsey Plum, 4 or more threes. She is playing against the Fever, which is the Caitlin Clark squad. I don't know if everybody saw this. I always feel bad saying this. I feel like people are going to get mad at me from a gender perspective. I don't watch a ton of the WNBA. There's just not enough time in the day. I got a lot of things I got to watch. But I do enjoy occasionally, right? If it's on, you throw it on. But obviously, WNBA is having a moment right now, right? I know more about the WNBA right now than I have probably since like Lisa Leslie was in the WNBA, and I was watching SportsCenter on repeat 6 times a day because I was that kind of a nerdy 8-year-old. Right? The Caitlin Clark stuff has happened. So on my social media feed a couple of days, maybe a week ago, Kelsey Plum went viral. Kelsey Plum has been a star for a while. I've been aware of her stardom for a handful of years now. She's gone viral a few different times. She can absolutely chuck a T-shirt. There was when she was in college, there was some giveaway where the women's basketball team was throwing T-shirts into the crowd. She hucked that bad boy up into like the third deck. Yeah. She had some good natural throwing form coming from a former quarterback. But she went viral like a week ago for how she treated some autograph seekers outside of, I think it was the hotel. Wasn't the friendliest. And the most common comment that I saw, and again, I learned all of this kind of against my will, just on social media. The most common comment I saw was, the rest of the WNBA stars aren't ready for the attention that Caitlin Clark is bringing to the W. Oh, Caitlin Clark's bringing so many more fans to the WNBA. They're going to have to get used to signing autographs. And I'm not saying she was not a little curt or short with the autograph seekers, but I am saying she's been a star for a while. She's been signing autographs for a long time. It's not like she didn't sign autographs before Caitlin Clark showed up. I have a feeling the competitor in her is going to want to put on a show against the Fever, Caitlin Clark's team. So 4 or more threes for Kelsey Plum versus the Fever. Her kind of over-under is set at 3 or more. I'm teasing it up to 4 because I think she's got a little extra edge in her. So give me plus 340, Kelsey Plum, 4 or more threes. That'll turn $10 into 44 if it hits. Graham, where are you going next?
Well, I just realized that the Phillies and Astros game is actually in play right now, and the Astros find themselves down 1-0.
I almost did the same thing.
I am pivoting, and I'm now going to go to a 7-11 first pitch between the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets, and I'm going to take the Braves run line -1.5 plus 152.
Okay. I'm going to the night game. There's really only one game that starts after our show. It's Mets-Braves. So I knew I was going to hit that with 2 prop bets. I am a Mets fan, so I'm just going to make this one with my heart. Team's got over $750 million committed to the guy, so he's got to be able to hit a home run. Mets, Juan Soto hits a home run versus Atlanta tonight. Plus 295. Make that $800 million or whatever it is. Worthwhile. Turn $10 into $39.50.
I had the exact same mindset. I also took a Juan Soto bet for my last one, except I did to record 2 total bases, or 2 more total bases plus 115.
Okay. Last one for me. This is my emotional hedge. If I'm going to go with my heart and pick Soto, then I'm going to make sure that my heart is protected and pick a anytime home run from Braves Ronald Acuna to hit a home run versus the Mets, plus 350. It's an emotional hedge. As a Mets fan, I absolutely despise when Acuna is doing all the celebrating around the base paths when he hits a home run. Not because I don't think you should have fun playing baseball. It's just because he's a Brave and he's in the division, and I'm a Mets fan. So to protect myself against the heartbreak, especially if Soto doesn't hit a home run and make my other bet hit, then Acuna. So if it hits and he's doing the dance around, at least I'll get $35 in winnings, $45 in total payout coming back my way. So there you go. That's the ladder challenge. Graham and I against each other. Whoever has the most money tomorrow is the winner, and with the winner comes the bragging rights.
I'll call in once I win.
Sure. You can call in. Big on accountability around here. A little gloating, a little bragging. It's never hurt anybody. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the ladder challenge. Next up, I want to have some theory talk. Right? I've been doing this a lot recently. Trying to go big ideas, right? The off season for sports that aren't baseball, I think it's a time to have big ideas, to think about pushing the envelope. And last night, watching the NBA draft, I think the NBA is at the forefront of this. For a long time, it was baseball, right? Once Moneyball happened and the A's did what the A's did in the early 2000s, it became the cool thing in baseball to think differently. Right, everybody was looking for their edge, and you saw some really cool things happen. Right, some really cool teams built in interesting ways. Right, and eventually, I guess over 2.5 decades, it seems like it's uniformed up a little bit. The numbers have told everybody the same way to play. So everybody's looking for power pitchers, strikeout pitchers. Everybody's looking for home runs, and nobody's bunting. Nobody's hitting for high average. Everybody's kind of looking for the same things. Very few guys are stealing many bases. The NBA, on the other hand, I think they're entering into their kind of experimental phase. And I think it's going to come with a passing of the torch in that LeBron's not going to play forever. Steph's not going to play forever. KD's not going to play forever, right? These guys that can kind of be the system in and of themselves are going to move on, and teams are going to have a little bit of identity searching. And as always, and we know that NFL is king. I wonder if there's not something they can learn from it, because I'm watching the NBA draft last night, and the amount of different approaches struck me. If you watch so many other sports, everybody's trying to do the exact same thing. But if you watched the NBA draft last night, I think it was the Nuggets. The Nuggets had no picks. No picks last night, no picks tonight in the second round. They obviously have gone bleep them picks, right? But then the Nets had 5 first-rounders. And everybody assumed they were going to package 3 of them together and trade up into the top 5 to get their guy. No, they sat back and made all 5 picks. Not only that, they picked 4 guards. It's hard to roster 5. Yeah, now maybe they're expecting to put some of them on the G League, but do you know what I actually think they're planning on? I think they're the most humble team in the league. I think they are baking in that they plan to miss on a couple guys. They're going like, listen, first-round picks they're not 100%, right? We look at our history. I don't know. We usually have, out of every 5 first-rounders, 1 turns into a star, 2 turn into pretty good role players, and 2 are out of the league within 3 years. So we should just draft 5 of them and up our chances of hitting the at least 1 star. And I know Drake Powell out of UNC is more of like a wing than a guard, right? He's not bringing the ball up. But 4 guards is 4 guards. Demon, Traore, Seraph, and Powell, who are the 8, 19, Powell's the 22, and Seraph is the 26. A lot of international prospects there. They're guards. They are guards. That's absurd. But then you think about it, right? OKC did something similar. OKC has averaged 2 first-round picks per year over the last 5 drafts. In the last 5 drafts, they've drafted 10 first-rounders. Somehow it worked out for them, right? They won a championship. And the crazier part, right now, if you couldn't trade picks at all, you weren't allowed to, they average 2 2/3 first-round picks over the next 3 drafts. People are doing things a little differently. I actually have the list right here because I did the little counting here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dude, this is just Tim counting on 99.9 The Fan. I promise there's a point to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So 21 teams had first-round picks last night. That means 9 had none. 9 had none. Now I'm I'm going into the little piggy. This one had none. This little one had roast beef. 9 teams had no first-round picks. 6 teams had more than 1 first-round pick. 1 team made 5 first-round picks. 1 team in the Pelicans traded away an unprotected first for next year, and the Pelicans aren't going to be good. They may have traded away the number 1 overall pick next year to move up from 23 to 13 to draft Derek Queen. Some people covet picks. Some, who cares? The variety is beautiful. Thinking about the draft differently is good. How about this? The Suns are thinking differently. They traded for Mark Williams and drafted Kaman Malawash. That's the same role. Same school. Both came out of Duke. Both exceptional athletes, both 7-footers, both surprising offensive touch, but needs to be developed. Here's what Jay Billis says Kaman Malawash brings to the Suns.
Yeah, worn number 9 at Duke in honor of Luol Deng, but you're talking about a big-time rim protector with a 7'6" wingspan, blocked a ton of shots last season for Duke and was a real presence in the lane. Also an excellent offensive rebounder. His offensive rebound percentage was close to 17%. That was top 15 in Division I. And he shot 71% from the field. That was 4th in Division I. He shot that percentage in large measure because he's a great offensive rebounder. He's excellent as a pick and roll roller. You can just lob it up as high as you want. He had 81 dunks on the season. That was 2nd in Division I. 38 of those dunks were off of lobs. He's not a switch big. He played mostly in drop coverage, but he's a better perimeter shooter than his statistics indicated. It's something he has worked on.
You could say all the same things about Mark Williams. But guess what else Mark Williams has? A little bit of an injury history, right? He was almost traded to the Lakers. They didn't like the physical. It all went back. This is different thinking. Instead of let's not trade for the guy who's injured, let's trade for 2 of them and hope at least one of them's always healthy. It's different thinking. Last example I'll give you is the Blazers. The Blazers, the league has gone guard heavy, right? You need to be able to create. You need to be able to shoot. You need to be able to have the ball in your hand. Everybody wants big guys that can do it all. The surprise pick of the night last night was a Chinese big man, Yang Hansen. Okay? Wasn't even invited to the draft to be there, so he bought a ticket, sat in the bleachers, and when they picked him, by the way, like middle of the first, it was like the 14th pick or something, like 16th pick, he walked out of the bleachers like he was a fan down onto the stage and shook the commissioner's hand.
The picture of him and Adam Silver is hilarious, just the height difference between the two.
He is 7'2".
But you see that height, you're like, how did he not get invited to work out with one team at least?
The 3rd, including Yao Ming is the first, went number 1 overall. I think he's the 3rd highest drafted Chinese player prospect of all time. It was Yao Ming, shortly after that, Yi Jianlian, and now him. It's kind of unprecedented. But 7'2", you're like, oh, they must have needed a big, right? Everybody needs a bunch of shooters, and they need the one big that can protect the rim and catch lobs. No, this is what the Blazers have. Last year in the lottery, they drafted 7'2" Donovan Clingan out of UConn, that shot-blocking wizard. They already have on the roster 7-foot-tall former first overall pick DeAndre Ayton. So now you add 7'2" Chinese big man Yang Hansen, and they have 6'9" defensive center Robert Williams, who many of you will remember from his time as a defensive wizard for the Celtics. In a league that is going small, they said, no, we want 7-footers. We want 1 billion centers like it's 1997 round here. Right? We need 2 7-footers off the bench, and we need at least 1 in the starting lineup. And we need a defensive big who's a little bit smaller but can move his feet a little bit better just in case. Like it's 1994. I hope they make them all wear the Patrick Ewing wristbands around the wrist. Not these wristbands up at the elbow. Wristbands are called wristbands because you put them on the wrist. Like Patrick Ewing. But it's different and it's bold, and it takes a lot to be different. It takes a lot of conviction in your beliefs to be different. I think OKC and Sam Presti, especially their GM, being so out there for a long time, and Daryl Morey and what he's done during his time with the Rockets and during his time with the Sixers and all over the NBA, these GMs that have thought differently, similar to the origin of the Moneyball in Major League Baseball, them having success without just doing what everybody else is doing, I think has empowered everybody to be a little different. Be a little different. Could the NFL do that? Because right now, if you watch the way every NFL team is built, it's darn near the exact same. Right? If you're at the top of the draft, what do? You take a quarterback. If you don't need a quarterback, you take a left tackle or an edge rusher, and you make it happen. Could a team go full OKC, full what Brooklyn did this year? Could they trade away everything, load up on picks, and then just crank out that treadmill of contention with rookie contracts left and right? Because here's the beauty of OKC, okay? And roster building, there are similarities across sports. Could this is the beauty of OKC. Now they're a bunch of first-round picks that they have coming up. They're not about finding stars. Everybody else is trying to find stars. Right? In the first round, you're trying to find your cornerstone. But OKC has a bunch of those guys. They're going to pay Shai Gilgeous-Alexander more money than anyone knows what to do with. They're going to pay Chet Holmgren, and they're going to pay Jalen Williams. He just had 40 in an NBA Finals game. Those three, the stars are there. So now, as their role players get too expensive, right? If the other Jalen Williams has a really good season and somebody's going to go pay him a bunch of money, if Caruso, everybody's real high on him. If he hits free agency and somebody else wants to give him a bunch of money, they can't afford him. They're using first-round picks to just find cheap replacements for those guys. Right? So they're drafting for role in the first round, and they got 3 tries at it each year. All right, we got to replace Hartenstein, which, by the way, I think they did with the big man they got with the 15th pick. I think that's obviously Hartenstein's replacement when Hartenstein leaves in a couple years. They're just trying to crank it out. Could you do that in the NFL? I've had this internal thought for a while, and this is like, again, I talk about how nerdy I was as a kid. This is like me and my dad if we were on a road trip. We're going to talk about theories of how to build an NFL team. This was one that we've come back to a bunch of times. I want to draft a quarterback in the first round every 3 years. I want to draft a quarterback in the first round every 3 years because you get him for 5. Right, you have him on a rookie contract, and then your 5th-year option, right? So every 3 years I'm drafting a quarterback. I'm deciding by the 4th year, like their 2nd year, if they're ready to start. If they are, I trade away my quarterback. I never pay anyone other than like an obvious MVP. Obviously, if you get Mahomes, then you pay him. But anyone other than an obvious MVP, I'm never giving a second contract because I got a younger guy on a cost-controlled deal right after you, and I've already decided if they're good enough. And here's the beauty. Draft him every 3 years. Decide after his rookie year if he's ready to start. If he's not, draft another because I still have the previous one on his 5th-year option the next year coming up. Does it work? I don't know. Is it a theory that would take a ton of cojones to try to execute? Yes. But you know what else does? Drafting 4 guards in the same draft like Brooklyn just did. You know what else does? Having 4 centers on your active lineup in a league that's moving away from having traditional centers like the Blazers just did. If you believe it's going to work, you got to give it a try. And I actually think like you're not going to out-Chiefs the Chiefs. You're not going to out-Ravens the Ravens. You're not going to out San Fran or out Philly. Like these teams, you're trying to, I'm going to build in their image. They're the best at it. Philly's cap manipulation is unreal. They have like $250 million in void years where they're manipulating the cap. Their team's worth like twice as much as other teams. But they're just good at it, and they find a way to get their players to agree to it. Andy Reid saying, we're not going to invest in wide receivers a ton because we can get mid-round picks to play like all-stars. Great. If you can do that better than Andy Reid, go for it. But you can't, especially not without Patrick Mahomes. But if you're going to try to do things like the teams that you're chasing are doing them, you're probably going to fall short. Or you can try to be you. Find your own path. Do it a little differently. I mean, that's really what roster building is all about. And that's why I like when people criticize the Carolina Hurricane system. When they say Rod Brindamore's system is too exhausting and nobody wants to play for him and, oh, they can't win this. I'm going like, good, keep saying it. I don't want other teams to start doing it because then the players that fit the system are going to become more valuable. They're going to become more expensive. The Florida Panthers might be messing up, right? They're playing a very similar system to what the Canes do, and they just won it all. Now the players, like Mikko Rantanen, for an example. Mikko Rantanen scores a bunch of goals, but he's not really the best two-way guy. Let someone else pay him a bunch of money, right? He doesn't fit with the Canes, as we learned. Canes want somebody that plays two-way hockey. If that becomes the new soup du jour, if that becomes the new flavor of the day, then those guys are going to get more expensive. And I know that's very, very, very surface level. I just boiled down very complicated NHL strategery into one guy likes to score and not play defense, and one guy likes to do both. I'm just trying to make a point here. I'm not actually talking hockey philosophy. But thinking differently is valuable. It is. And I loved watching the NBA draft and reading about the NBA draft and seeing teams see a draft like the draft board, right? Everybody's judging the same players. Everybody sees the same college highlights. Everybody sees the same BC, Barcelona, whatever the overseas games are. They all watch the same tape, have the same players come in for interviews and workouts, yet there were, of the 30 teams last night, 21 that made picks, there are probably 12 severely different views, which is good. And then here's the last point I'll make. If you are bold and you do try something different and it doesn't work, be ready to pivot. I read an article today about the Magic's pick. The Magic drafted Jason Richardson's son. Jason Richardson, the dunk champion, for those of you that remember him taking the world by storm in the early 2000s. His son, Jace Richardson, also out of Michigan State, was drafted by the Magic late in the first round. He's 6 feet tall. 6 feet. If you go and look at the last 10 years of Magic drafting, they draft giants. Everybody they draft is 6'11" with a 7'12" wingspan, right? They're all Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner, and they're all just these massive humans. The Mo Bambas and like all of them. Well, guess what? Magic haven't won a ton in the last 10 years. So this offseason, guess what they did? They looked around and said, maybe we shouldn't only take giants. Maybe we need the skill sets of some smaller guys. So guess what they did? They traded 4 first-round picks plus for Desmond Bane, who is a small guy with a small wingspan, but he can shoot. And they drafted in the first round a 6-footer who can leap, and he's quick, and he's a great defensive player on the perimeter. According to the article I read, I have to admit I haven't personally evaluated Jace Richardson. So, yeah, they for, I don't know, at least a handful of years, the Magic were like, our difference. The way we're going to zag when everyone zigs is we want everybody to be a giant. We want everybody to be wingspan. We want everybody to be lanky. And when it didn't work, they went, all right, let's pivot. We need some short guys. We need some guys that can do other things. That's just as important as being bold, is being able to recognize we were bold and we were wrong. Let's go be bold in a different direction. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Graham's been perusing the internet, all of our social medias, YouTube, 99.9 The Fan on all of the different social medias, and including YouTube. He's been looking for comments and feedback from you because coming up next, it's a feedback frenzy. Don't go anywhere.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The Kevin Durant situation in Houston feels a lot like the Aaron Rodgers situation with the Jets.
Oh, no.
This is not where I'm just going to put it out there. Like, obviously, this won't be the place where he's had the most success in his playing career, but this will be the thing that we remember the most.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This summer, the world's game comes to Charlotte.
Bank of America Stadium will host Epic Round of 16 matchups on Saturday, June 28th and Monday, June 30th. Teams will be revealed soon, but one thing's clear. You won't want to miss this. Be there when it happens. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets. Bank of America Stadium. The world is watching.
Want to score points with your boss? Recruit RoofWorks to your building maintenance team to handle your commercial roofing needs. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. We've helped hundreds of Triangle businesses with their commercial roof maintenance, repairs, and if necessary, total replacements. Our pros come to your site, assess your roofing needs, and then give you a range of options to fit your budget. And we'd love to work with you. For roof maintenance and repair, contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. All kinds of beers and thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
With the 4th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Con Knipple from Duke University.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Graham Hill is in his hip-hop bag today, producing the show with the rejoin music. We've heard there was Drake earlier. Now I'm blanking, but there's been 5 or 6 hip-hop songs.
I mean, in honor of the NBA Draft, trying to go with, like, you know, the hip-hop feel, basketball, songs you would hear during a warm-up line.
Arena music has gone hip-hop darn near every sport. What's LaMelo Ball's brother? Why can't I think of his name?
Oh,
not Lonzo. The Whoa guy.
D'Angelo?
Leangelo. No, Leangelo. Jello Ball. It has to start with an L. It's LaMelo. It's Lonzo. It can't be D'Angelo. But anyway, his song plays.
Now you're gonna make me fun.
His song plays before Canes games when they're out there warming up, and I'm going like, all right, brand new song from an NBA player's brother, and it's already made it to Canes game. So yeah, if you're looking for a Jello song,
Jello Ball.
That's what I said. Leangelo.
Oh, sorry.
Come on, man. We're past that. No, I'm kidding. But we're not past feedback frenzy. So let's jump into a feedback frenzy. The way this works, Graham goes onto the internet, finds all the feedback from our lovely listeners, YouTube comments, anywhere else he can find them, and he brings them on air. We get a chance to respond because we like to have the last word. Graham, what do you got for us?
I might swerve through that corner. Whoa,
that song.
Whoa.
Yeah, that one plays in the during Canes warmups.
We're going to start with a video that is fresh on our YouTube channel. The UNC basketball winning round 1 of the NBA draft, and Spickle Poles said, didn't Powell literally say he left UNC because he couldn't highlight his skill set?
He didn't say because. I know the quote. You can go find it on our YouTube. We've had long conversations about it. He did say he wasn't able to show the potential he believes he has as a two-way player at UNC. He didn't say I left because. So that's just a little tweak there. And by the way, even I, right there off the top of my head, did not have the exact quote. But I do know that the because was not there, and that does change the meaning of the quote. That's part of the reason why I think it's so big that he was drafted 22nd overall. Because of quotes like that one, a very similar quote on his podcast, the Captain Jack Show for Ian Jackson, where he didn't believe that he got to show what he could do at UNC, which obviously he transferred to St. John and is not going into did not go into the draft this year, despite being in a first-round mock guy for months and months. There is some legitimacy to it that UNC has not been cranking out top NBA picks for quite some time now, despite the fact that they do still recruit at a high level. That's why it was such a big deal he went 22nd overall. Because if Drake Powell says, yeah, I didn't get to show what I can do, and he goes to 37, then people think you took a first-round pick, hit him, so nobody knew what he could do, and thus he fell to 22nd. Now, took a first-round pick, he says, I didn't get to show what I can do. UNC's going, no harm, no foul. You still went 22nd overall. That's why it was such a big deal to me.
As it relates to your conversation yesterday about the Carolina Panthers being listed as a top trade destination for Trey Hendrickson, Trizzy 2009 said, absolutely not. We have to give up draft capital to sign him. Not worth it.
I agree. And by the way, the only reason that one isn't as Looney Tune-ish as some of the other trade conversations we've talked about today, some writers out there, I am not the writer that came up with these, suggested trading for Kyle Pitts or suggested trading for Travis Etienne. No. The only reason why I would say the Hendrickson deal isn't as outlandish is there is a dramatic need for the Panthers at edge rusher. They don't need a running back. They don't need a tight end, particularly they don't need Kyle Pitts. They do need edge rushing, and in maybe a big way. I don't like their depth chart at free safety. I don't like their depth chart at corner. And if you don't have a secondary, you can't give a quarterback time. And right now, I don't know if they have the edge rushers to shorten that internal alarm clock for the quarterbacks. Trey Hendrickson would obviously do that. But this is one of those things that, like, how long have I been talking? 2 minutes on this? A minute and 30? For a minute and 30, it makes sense. And then by 3 minutes, you completely realize it doesn't. By 3 minutes, you go, wait a second, how much are you going to have to give up? Wait a second, is this a $35 million a year contract over 5 years with 3.5 of them fully guaranteed? Like, okay, you know what? Yes, somebody with Trey Hendrickson's skill set would be perfect, but the situation doesn't make any sense. So we will politely bow out of this conversation. Thank you very much.
When discussing the Carolina Hurricanes' second-line center predicament, Boris_Chang said, Jarvis, Aho, Marner line, nickname would be the featherweight line. We need size and strength up front. Do whatever it takes to get Tag and make him a first-line center. Put Aho on as a second-line center with Svechnikov and whomever.
I'm fine, but obviously that they said get Tage Thompson.
Yes,
I'm with it. You won't hear me complain about getting Tage Thompson. If you know anything about the Canes, they're not afraid of throwing a line together with a bunch of featherweights. It's not like Jackson Blake was out there tipping the scales at 230.
Logan Stankoven, perfect example.
But the first line for large stretches this year was Aho flanked by Jarvis and Jackson Blake. You take all three of those guys together, you might get a Alexander Nikishin. It's part of the Canes deal. I agree that you'd probably want to have a little bit more size up there, but here's the thing. Find me the guy, right? If it's Tage Thompson at center, cool. So you put him at 1A, you put Aho at 1B, right? The Canes don't number their lines. I'm fine with that. You think putting Aho next to Svech suddenly now you have the strength advantage? You got Aho, Svech, and I don't know, Stankoven on the other side. I'm just picking one. You got Jackson Blake on the other side. Now you're good? No. Like if you really want to be a team that is big and physical, you need like 5 dudes that are bigger and more physical than what you have, and that's just not the way the Canes think. They are an analytics-based team. They are a skill-based team, and I think they could get more physical, but if you're bringing in Marner, like that physicality is just not – doesn't grow on trees.
Going back to the Carolina Panthers, your conversation that you had yesterday about how they need to lean heavily on Chuba Hubbard this season, this got a lot of comments and feedback underneath the video. Feel free to check it out on the Fans YouTube channel. But we're going to go with KO You Diggs comment, which is, if we lean any heavier on him, talking about Chuba Hubbard, than we did last season, we will break him. Overuse a running back, and he will get injured. Got to be careful.
I'm going to sound extremely callous here, okay? I'm going to sound cyborg-ish, inhuman even. It's kind of the point. The way that the way the contract is structured, you can get out after this year. I'm saying the way it makes sense to pay him the amount of money you're paying today for the ability level he has is if you run him into the ground. That's not, like I said, his agent's not going to enjoy hearing this. But if you can get the one magical year of Chuba Hubbard where you give him the ball 30 times, you turn him into Larry Johnson on the Chiefs from 2007. Like you go all out.
Is Christian McCaffrey back?
This is the different kind, because Christian McCaffrey was catching so many and more of an outside runner. But yet you give him the ball a ton, and then if he does wear down, you move on from him this offseason, and you hope that Jonathan Brooks is ready for the next year to take over. You drafted him in the second round. Can't be precious with these dudes. And now I'll go back to being a human and say, for his sake, right, for him to see the most of that 4-year, $33 million extension that he signed, you probably don't want to ride him too hard and give him too many carries. Two ways to look at it.
Staying on the Carolina Panthers, I thought in honor of the NBA draft, it would be fun to go back to your conversation last week about what does the $10 billion sale of the Lakers say about David Tepper and the Carolina Panthers. Jason4485 said, I've been critical of David Tepper, but the dude wants to win. He's also shown that he is learning from his mistakes and becoming a better owner. I can't fault him for that.
I agree. And actually, when was that comment?
Last week, 5 days ago.
I did not see that comment, and yesterday on the show, we were talking, like it started with the Teppers, the David and Nicole Tepper Foundation committed $10 million to food banks across the state, across the Carolinas, North and South Carolina. It started there, but I did say, and you can go find it on yesterday's live stream, maybe in a YouTube video or two. I would say the last 8 to 10 months have been a dramatic improvement for David Tepper as an owner in the NFL. They have been much better. I think and by the way, he hasn't been invisible.
No.
But he's been, I talked about the behind the scenes stuff at the draft. If I were an owner, now in the NFL, I would probably have an ego and I'd be meddling and I'd want them to take my opinion because I played college football and I own the team. I'd be an owner that would annoy some people. But say I bought a baseball team, or I played baseball growing up, but I'm not an expert by any stretch. I would want to be in every meeting.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me what's going on, even if I'm not giving input. I own the team, right? This is my ultimate fantasy baseball team. This is the dream. So I'm in the draft room like Tepper was, right? And you would hear Dan Morgan and Brant Tillis and Dave Canales talking about trades they might make or picks they might make. And then you would eventually see, David Tepper lean in and go like, you going to get your guy? You going to get your guy? And it's like, yeah, that's what an owner should do. Enjoy it. You're the owner. The only issue I have is I think I'm just nostalgic for the era when the owners had a bit more of a personal connection. I agree David Tepper wants to win. Okay? Whatever the comment said. And if we go a couple extra minutes here, it's all right. I agree David Tepper wants to win. But I believe the only reason David Tepper wants the Carolina Panthers to win is because when David Tepper wanted to buy an NFL team, the Panthers came up for sale. Maybe I'm naive. Seems like 30 years ago, the owners were connected to that team, right? They grew up in the area. They knew it. Maybe they grew up fans. They made their money in that city, whatever it is. Even if they didn't own the team, they would be season ticket holders of the team, that kind of deal. And that connection always felt like it meant more. I saw the rising value in sports franchises and talked to some of my money people, and I realized I could come up with a liquid $2.4 million. So I thought it was a good investment. And by Willikers, 10 years later, it is already 3x'd my money and shows no sign of slowing down. Like, I don't want that owner. Right? And sure, I want you to win. Why? Because the value of the price goes up. Right? The only reason the Warriors are the most expensive basketball team right now is because they've won a boatload, and that gave them the money and the ability to build a big new arena in a richer part of town, and then they won a boatload there, and now they're technically, according to Forbes, worth more than the Lakers, who just sold for $10 billion. So, yeah, I believe David Tepper wants to win. I believe he's willing to spend to win, but the connection is just what I think is missing. And that's why I was upset with the Lakers sale. Not upset, but that's why I didn't love it, right? The Buss family and the Lakers, they lived and breathed Laker basketball. They're the Buss family. Jerry Buss, go watch Winning Time. The dude took insane personal risks to buy the Lakers. He had, I'm not even sure it was all 100% on the up and up. He had to have, because there was debt in one area, he had to have his ex-wife sign for something, and he had to put this up as collateral to buy the Lakers, and it worked. They loved it. Now, what is it? Mark Walter buys it. He also owns the Dodgers. He also owns pieces of a couple of soccer teams. He also owns, I think, the entire women's hockey league, PWHL. He also owns like all of these other. It's all right. Lakers didn't win this year, but the Dodgers did. Great year for me. But Tepper has been much better the last 8, 9, 10 months. So I'll agree with that. Shout out to David Tepper. That's going to do it for us for a feedback frenzy. Didn't get to as many as we wanted there, but got on a David Tepper rant and can't always control those. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The starting five is coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I know the hurricane season came to an end. Another year with a loss to Florida in the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 of the last 3. But it's been a great year, and it's going to be a great summer with all that cap room the Hurricanes have. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, from free agency to trades to the draft. We'll have player interviews, special sit-down with Rod Brindamore that he doesn't even know about yet. He'll do it, don't worry. Just stay tuned to the Canes Corner podcast on YouTube. Search Canes Corner and wherever you get your podcast.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Discover a new role with the Wake County Public School System. We're hiring special education instructional assistants and bus drivers, and we need dedicated individuals to help transport kids and provide instruction to eager students. You'll love our recently increased salaries and comprehensive benefits, including retirement, and will enjoy a welcoming, positive culture that will motivate you every day. Apply now at careers.wcpss.net and discover a place where anything is possible.
A pepperoni pizza for the table. May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time.
Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Handy Hugo's has a refreshing deal. 2 1-liter Pepsis for just $3. Quench your thirst at Handy Hugo's today.
Down on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
Get in the hole! That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRL meteorologist Mike Mays. 20 to 30% chance for an evening shower or storm. I think more focused west of Raleigh, 75 the low. About a 30% chance for storms tomorrow afternoon once again. They could be strong. The high temperature about 95.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day up 404 points at 43,386.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting five. And as always, we start with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
With the first pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Cooper Flagg from Duke University.
We've talked pretty extensively about Cooper Flagg going number 1 overall to the Mavs. We've had a really good conversation, I believe, about Drake Powell going 22nd overall to the Brooklyn Nets. Drake Powell out of UNC. We've referenced in multiple different ways the uniqueness of Kaman Malawash from Duke ending up with the Phoenix Suns along with Mark Williams from Duke, who spent a couple years with the Charlotte Hornets in the middle. I don't know if we've spent enough time talking about Con Knipple ending up, like it feels like he's staying home. He's from Wisconsin, but he went to Duke for a year. So now being drafted by the Hornets 4th overall,
The Charlotte Hornets.
feels like he's staying home, even though it's like he's staying away from home, right? I guess the Milwaukee Bucks would be the home squad. But still, it's a cool moment, right? Con Knipple this morning was on Mac and Bone on our friends up there at WFNZ in Charlotte, and he was asked about all of the comments on his defense and quickness and how he reacts to him.
Oh, it's nothing I haven't heard before. I'm just gonna keep working hard and trying to get better overall in my game, and that's worked out for me so far, and I have full confidence that it'll keep working out for me going forward.
I don't want to turn this into the conversation that it always turns into. He's not like an awful athlete. I think some people see he's, for whatever reason, he's kind of built like a square, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
Like, like this is going to get real weird. A swimmer's body is like a triangle, right? Your shoulders are real wide, coming down to a very thin waist.
Sure.
And his like shoulders, it just goes straight down. He's not out of shape or anything. You know what I mean? It's not a triangle. It's more of a rectangle.
I mean, to get a scholarship offer from Duke, I mean, you got to be pretty decent basketball player.
And like his hair kind of just floofs, and he's got the little goatee going. I don't know why people, and then there's obviously the race element. People think there's no way he could be a good athlete as far as like speed, quickness, jumping ability. And I'm not here to say he's VJ Edgecombe, who went 1 pick before him to the Sixers, who's an unbelievable athlete. But I am saying, like, he's not just going to get blown by everybody. He is a good athlete, and his numbers at the Combine back that up. And then the other thing is, he does have really good defensive instincts. And again, it sounds cliche, right? He's a coach's son. No, he does have good defensive instincts as far as positioning and as far as communication and everything. I think there's a lot of things. And by the way, I think there are other parts of his game he needs to work on more. I'm not saying he's a perfect prospect, but I don't think that's the big detriment that everybody makes it out to be. Going fourth overall to Charlotte is a really interesting spot for him. Here's what I hope doesn't happen. I hope he doesn't spend the first 2 years of his career or them trying to turn him into a Kyle Korver, Joe Harris, there was another one that I'm blanking on, and he's a shooter. Danielle Marshall. I hope it's not just, hey, this guy can shoot threes, so let's use him for spacing while the ball is in LaMelo's hands, while the ball is in Brandon Miller's hands, while we do all this cool stuff with these guys who are our main usage guys. He can do some things with the ball in his hands. He plays at his own speed. Okay? I am talking stylistically here, not quality. Okay? I'm not saying he's the same player as or as good as. He plays with a hint of Luka in his game. He plays with a hint of James Harden in his game, in that, like, you get one step behind him, and instead of, if you were to watch a John Wall, a VJ Edgecombe, if they get a step on you, rev it up. Right now I'm gone. I'm pulling away. I'm too fast. Can't catch up. When Luka or Harden or Knipple in the college level get a step on you, suddenly they're weaving in front of you. They're throwing their rump out, so now you can't get around them, and they get an open bucket. He can be more of a high usage player, and I hope the Hornets don't bury him behind 35% usage for LaMelo, 30% usage for Miller. Everybody else gets their scraps.
They also need an outside shooter.
I just don't want him to be just that. And Miller can shoot. And Melo, when he's not taking ridiculous threes, he can shoot. I think they can all work off of each other. I want him to be a part of that rather than just a guy there to make it easier for the other two. That's number 5, NBA Draft Day 1 reactions. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Now he just got a penalty. Frederick just cross-checked Bennett, broke his stick, and now Bennett's going to get even. That was Greer and Nurse. We're just going to start seeing 10-minute misconducts getting handed out.
So tomorrow, we may get some news out of the NHL. There is a collective bargaining agreement being negotiated. And Frank Saravalli, Daily Faceoff, tweeted this out earlier. NHL and NHL Players Association preparing to announce the framework of a new collective bargaining agreement on Friday ahead of the NHL draft. An unprecedented early extension, says Saravalli. Some of the changes that he expects to be coming tomorrow include a couple more games in the regular season. 84 regular season games for the NHL. Graham, do you hate that?
I don't hate it if you do a concept like this. Not saying I want to get rid of like a wild card facing like the top seeded team in their division, but those last two are like play-in games for the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I don't like it. I like that you brought ideas to the table. I may have been a little rough there.
I mean, I just like, what's the point of adding 2 more games to the regular season if there's not going to be any kind of significance behind it?
Do you have the sounders up? Can you play the ka-ching sounder? Because that is the reason why you get 2 extra games.
Okay, fair.
I don't think it changes the competitiveness much. The thing that I would be concerned about, if I were concerned about something, is leagues do preach player safety, and I assume 2 more games, like, what is 2 out of 82? I'm not math. Is like roughly 2.5%. I would imagine 2.5% more games is 2.5% more injuries. And I don't know if you get a ton back other than money, right? You get more tickets, you get more concessions, you get a happier media partner, right? Your television deals, your radio deals, like the ones with us, they become more lucrative if you get extra games. Other than that, I don't really see a need for it. And if they do lead to more injuries, then that becomes, obviously, an issue. So, it's hard to preach player safety and then add more games. The NFL found themselves in the same hypocritical situation a couple of years ago. But if it gets you more money, when the NHL and NHLPA come together, the biggest thing they're going to argue about is money, 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 money. And if the players say, we want more money, and the owners say, all right, play 2 more games to make more money, they'll probably say, how much more money are we talking? Right? It always comes down to 2 extra game checks, deal. 2.5 more game checks, deal. Right? Whatever the negotiation ends up being. There are also other changes expected from Saravalli in the new CBA framework, expected to be out tomorrow. No player dress code. I want to be clear on this. I could not care less. What they wear in and out of the arena, and I wear a shopping bag, trash bag for all I care. Wear a $40,000 designer mink coat. I don't wear whatever you want.
Just get me 15 points in the playoffs.
That's one where if I'm the NHL, I'm in my own NHL negotiating room with just my people. I'm going pretend we care a lot about the dress code so we can use it. So it's we would like the players to agree to lowering the maximum contract length by 1 year, which is an expectation. That'll be one of the changes tomorrow. And the NHLPA goes, no, absolutely not. We didn't want to do this, but we'll agree to getting rid of the dress code. Deal. Perfect. Didn't care about the dress code anyway. And now we get 1 year less on maximum length of contracts. That's what I would do if I were the NHL. Both of those changes expected. Long-term IR loophole is expected to be closing. Couldn't see that coming. Teams keep taking advantage of it. League's not going to be cool with that. Removing deferred salary from contracts is another change expected. Of course, I would assume the Players Association didn't love that. Don't make my players take money way later just to be team players and free up cap space. And they're also proposing or expecting to add full-time emergency backup goalies. How often do you need those? You know what I mean? Change that structure 100 times if you want to. I'm not going to get excited about it. 84 games, though. I don't know. It seems like a lot. Part of me wants to do the thing where it's the college football playoff expansion. All right, we're at 4. Do we want to go to 8? Maybe we'll go to 12. We'll go to 12. And I'm sitting here going go to 16. You're going to get there anyway. Right? Just make the jump. Part of me is NHL, figure out what you want. Is it 112? Get to 112. Let's not go 2 games at a time every 2 years, every CBA for the next 100 years. Let's get there. I've lost track. What number are we on? 3. He holds up 3 fingers for me. Let's get to number 3.
23 power play points last year. Kicked it back to Caulfield. Broken up. Here's a break. 2-on-1. Marner across. Can't hit too deep. Marner scores. And they do have their first shorthanded goal of the year.
Do you want Mitch Marner on the Carolina Hurricanes? Do you know what I like? I like to try to keep a pulse of the fans. What are the fans feeling? And there's a growing sentiment that the Canes got unlucky. And the sentiment is kind of using this. They have $28 million, $27 now after the Robinson deal, in cap space. And it just so happens to be a year where the free agency class isn't, there's not that much that you want to spend big money on, right? No, I finally have the money to spend, and there's not a ton for sale. And it's just bad luck. Because of that, because there isn't the most robust free agency class, a player like Mitch Marner's value is going to go up. Do you want Mitch Marner? I think everybody starts with yes. Do you want Mitch Marner at X amount price? You're going to start whittling out the field because everybody wants good players. Mitch Marner is a good player. He was, 7th or 8th, 6th in the Selke voting. He's a talented individual. Yeah, we'd love to have him on the team. $14 million a year? $14.5 million a year, $13.5, like whatever it ends up being. That's going to limit the group. Pierre LeBrun, TSN Hockey Insider, was asked what teams are serious contenders for Marner. This is what he said.
There are teams that we've identified that for sure I think are going to be in this. Vegas is in there. Dallas is interesting because Dallas, I think, is a team that Marner would like to have in there. I just don't know if the Stars can pull it off after they've committed themselves to Rantanen and they've got cap issues. But keep an eye on Dallas. LA Kings, I think, want to make a splash under Ken Holland. Anaheim Ducks just cleared up some cap space in trading Trevor Zegras. They are for sure not done. I just don't know if they have the wherewithal to get into the Marner Derby, but I think they're going to certainly ask the question.
We need to get past the point where the things that are likely unrealistic are still being included. Dallas would have to move heaven and earth to have enough cap space to bring on Mitch Marner, plus fill the rest of their slots on their roster that are vacant right now. It would be like Granlund, Robertson, on and on and on, all kind of being moved.
Yeah.
And you just they no.
Maybe that gets us Robertson somehow.
I will say, if Marner's list is limited, like where he wants to go is limited to teams that are going to have to work and move heaven and earth to get him on their roster, there's opportunity there for the Canes to find value. Like, we'll help you create the space. That's basically the Tomas Hertl thing that happened this week with all the rumors, is basically like, if you need to clear a bunch of cap space, you want to give us a good player on the cheap for it, we'll help you facilitate that. But I do think also the Canes want to be big game hunting, not just value hunting, right? To help the Stars or to help them facilitate a Marner signing, don't just get a bargain deal. Go get something of value. Pierre LeBrun, again, TSN Hockey Insider, was asked if the Hurricanes are on Mitch Marner's list of acceptable and or preferred teams. He responded.
Carolina would love to be all in on Mitch Marner. Remember that they tried to trade for him at the deadline. I just don't know that Carolina would be on Marner's list. In fact, I don't think they are right now, but that could change. Columbus, a team out of left field that has the most cap space in the whole league, Jay. They would like to get in on it, but again, I don't know that they would be a team on Mitch Marner's list. Probably won't be. So again, still developing. There are teams that will come out from obscurity on this too between now and next week, but that's a start.
Watch it come down between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Carolina Hurricanes just for the plot.
Just for a little Donnie action?
Just for Don Waddell and Eric Tulsky to meet outside of the Lenovo Center and Nationwide Arena and do like a 10-step duel.
You know what? I'm gonna take a little bit of a different path here. Call up Mitch Marner's agent as soon as free agency opens up and say, are we on the list or are we not? Are we acceptable or are we not? And if he says no, move the heck on. And don't do the thing where there's like a Venn diagram and there's teams that Mitch Marner wants to go to and teams that are willing to pay Mitch Marner $14 million a year. And if there's no overlap in that Venn diagram, if there's no one in the middle, and suddenly Mitch adds teams to the circle that he'll accept to go to, that happened, and one of them's the Canes because they were in the group that was willing to pay him a bunch of money, no. Right? I think that's the lesson learned from the Mikko situation, right? You can't force somebody to want to be there. You can pay them enough or you can trade enough to get them onto your organization, but you can't force somebody to want to be there. If Mitch doesn't want to be there, see you later, Mitch. If you do, right? If you call him up and say, hey, are we on the list, right? You call the agent July 1st, whatever, 2 minutes after it opens up. Are we on the list or are we not? Maybe you can find this out ahead of time. I don't know the rules. Hey, how many are on the list and are we on it? The ones he'd want to go to list. And if they say you are on it 100%, all right, cool. Let's start putting together an offer. Let's talk to him. Let's get our sales pitch together. If not, I got to call Dallas about a Robertson. I got to call, I'm trying to get a little Tage and Tuck action going on from Buffalo. Like, there's other things you can do. Where's Nikolai Ehlers, who, by the way, I saw today. I believe this is kind of legitimate report, has informed that he's going free agency. There will not be a deal done before July 1st for him to stick around, although sticking around not out of the question. All right, that's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us. Back shoulder to the far side, Jalen Coker. That's a touchdown. Bryce Young to Jalen Coker, the first career touchdown for the rookie from Holy Cross, getting more and more playing time in the rotation at receiver.
There used to be a commercial that would be shown, like we could, former college athletes could put it on their like a link on their resume, and the argument was hire a former college athlete because they're great at time management. Like we've been having full-time jobs since we were 18 years old, plus school, plus blah, blah, blah. I did a bad job with time management today. We are nearing the end of the starting 5, and we just got to number 2. So number 2 is there's some ridiculous reports for Panthers Carolina Panthers trade options out there. Don't get caught up in the craziness. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. If you want to have fun, you want to splash around in those waters, go crazy. Just know, got to come back to reality at some point. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1. And just like that, we're back on track. We're back on schedule. Now I'm back in my I'm back with good, solid time management. Day 2 NBA draft tonight. Round 2 NBA draft tonight, right? Because no draft can be just one day. You couldn't make 60 picks in one day. That'd be impossible. Second day of the draft tonight, I should say. I believe this is the sweat it out round. First round, I said it earlier, first round celebration, right? Con Knipple didn't know he was going 4th to the Hornets. He knew he was getting drafted, right? Kaman Malawash didn't know he was going to be parts of trades and end up in Phoenix at number 10. But he knew he wasn't going 24th, right? He knew he'd be off the table in the lottery. The second day, guys, their agents are keeping in touch with like Croatian leagues just in case, right? They're trying to keep in touch with Italian leagues just in case. They're calling teams that don't have any picks in the second round and saying, "Hey, do you have a spot in summer league for my guy if he's not picked?" This is where the you know, I don't know why this is the example popping in my the analogy. You ever watch Bear Grylls shows?
Yeah.
Like the
Man
Survivor,
yeah,
or he takes the celebrity out into the wilderness and they learn to survive. There's one picture that went viral a while ago, and I don't know if it's real, so Bear Grylls, don't come attack me, where he was like hanging from a wall, a rock wall, and he had makeshift anchors and ropes, and he looked so dramatic, and I think he was eating, right? Maybe he was like reaching into his pack and eating like a dried cricket that he had caught the night before, and then they zoomed out. And when I tell you he was like 2.5 feet off the ground, and there was a highway like 4 feet above his head, this rock wall was like the side of a highway essentially. And if he would have jumped, he could have like touched the guardrail on the outside of this highway. That's the first round of the draft, right? The first round is super dramatic. Will he be drafted? Where will he go? Ace Bailey, could he tumble all the way to 7th overall? Dramatics. Second round? Oh no, you're actually on the side of a cliff, right? If you're not drafted in the second round, you're not drafted, and it becomes wildly difficult to make an NBA roster as an undrafted rookie free agent.
And there's some triangle guys right now that are experienced that. And Tyrese Proctor, Zion James, and RJ Davis.
RJ Davis, he might even be on the outside looking in. Hunter Salas from Wake Forest also in the mix. There is also a high school basketball player, Caden Shedrick, who played at Holly Springs and then went to Virginia and Texas. He's a big guy, 6'11". Some big boards have him as high as 80th. That's probably not. He's probably in the RJ Davis range of, you're hoping, you're watching, but you're probably not throwing a party. You know what I mean? You're not getting 100 people together for you to field the call at Dave & Buster's to watch, because it's really a bummer when those parties happen and then you go undrafted. Keep the circle tight. But yeah, for the guys that we mentioned, right? You brought it up, Tyrese Proctor, Zion James, Hunter Salas. If any of the other two are picked, that's a big deal. Then fit becomes a big deal because second-round picks don't get a ton of chances like first-round picks do, right? You can't show up somewhere and go, I didn't vibe with the coach. I'll wait till I get traded. Or if they cut me, somebody else will pick me up. If you're a 24th pick in the draft, first-rounder, yeah, you'll get another chance. Someone else pick you up. They'll give you another chance. If you're 57th, you get cut. Might have to get ready to learn Italian, right? Might have to get ready to learn, whatever the highest paying job is overseas.
So with that being said, out of those remaining players still available tonight, Proctor, Davis, and James, along with Hunter Salas, who do you believe has the best chance to outperform their draft slot once selected?
It's so tough.
Almost a Tom Brady of the
the best second round picks of all time. I think Jokic was a second rounder. Draymond was a second rounder. Fred VanVleet was a second rounder. So there are all-stars that come out of the second round. There's just a severely, severely lower percentage to be a 5-year NBA vet, even as a role player, out of the second round than the first. To outplay their drafts, I think Proctor and I think Sion James have a good chance of going first 20 picks tonight. If Salas sneaks in, if he's 59th pick, I think he'll outplay that. I like Salas as a scorer. The hard part is 59 picks don't get volume shots, and Salas I believe needs that to be his best version, so he might never get that opportunity. I guess Proctor would be the best. Proctor in a role, being a guy running the second unit off a team, could have a long career. Right? The deal with the second round is you're probably not being picked to take 20 shots a game. And when I say probably, I'm exaggerating. You're not being picked to take 20 shots a game. You have to find your niche and do it well enough to stick around and hopefully build on your value. So I could see Proctor being a bench point guard. I'll go with that. Sion James, I still believe I think he'll get a cup of coffee in the NBA. I think he's going to be on the Duke bench within 7 years, assistant coach. And I think if he didn't blow out his knee in high school, he might have an NFL career. That dude's shoulders are huge. Running back, safety, something. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. But injuries happen. He went to basketball. He ended up at Duke. Not feeling bad for him. Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We need numbers game contestants, don't we? Because we have a free hour of tee time at X Golf. You can play the cool games, the target practice. You can play a full round of golf in an hour easily on a simulator like they have at X Golf. You could also grind. I'm big on this, right? You can get in there. If you're a serious golfer, they'll give you spin rate, club speed, ball speed. They'll give you all of the numbers that you see the pros using to grind. You can learn a lot about your swing, your clubs, in an hour at X Golf. So you can write all that down, take it to your club pro, whoever you get lessons. You can bring it to your friend who's a better golfer than you and really improve your swing. Or you can do the opposite and just, go target practice and all the fun, cool tic-tac-toe games and everything that you have on the simulators at X Golf. If you want to play the numbers game to win an hour of free tee time at X Golf, you have to call in now. We need 2 contestants. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Call in now. We need 2 contestants for the numbers game next.
It's Men's Health Month. WakeMed Primary Care wants to remind you to schedule your annual checkup. It's important to know your health numbers related to cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight, and BMI before it leads to chronic diseases. Focus on your health and preventing disease by building healthy habits and getting that yearly checkup and those screenings you've been putting off. To schedule your appointment, visit wakemed.org.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
It is I, Juan Carlos Santiago del Santiago, the coolest man in the world. Yes, I am back in Raleigh. Do I go downtown with so many places to party? No, I go to the Shakey's place. The good food, the fine drinks, the coldest of beers, and of course, the many, many beautiful people. I always hang at the Shakey's place, the coolest bar in the world, because, well, it was built for me. Juan Carlos Santiago del Santiago, the coolest man in the world. The Shakey's place, 8800 de Raleigh Road by the Shelley Station.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. All kinds of beers and thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Why? Why take a chance? Why risk a mistake? Why say something? We all have reasons why we choose to ignore the things that give us pause, that seem out of place, that don't feel right. The word why can either paralyze us or empower us to stand up and protect what we love. So if you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my family.
I see safe for my friends.
I see say for my students.
We see say for each other.
I see say because all of this matters.
We all have something worth protecting, a why that unifies this community we're all a part of. So protect your everyday. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have Kevin in Raleigh and Jeremy in Apex on the line because it's... Never mind. We're on an unreal streak of callers having their connection drop out. Kevin in Raleigh apparently has dropped out, but Graham's already on the line. So we may have a replacement for Kevin in Raleigh already before I tell everybody to run to their phones and call in. Graham, do we have a second contestant? Andrew in Creedmoor has jumped on the line in lieu of Kevin. So, Andrew in Creedmoor, just putting it into my notes here. There we go. And Jeremy and Apex are on the line because it's time to play the numbers game. As always, we have an awesome prize. An hour of free tee time at X Golf. Sweet, I promise you. And as always, I will ask a question to both of our contestants. Same question. They will answer, and our producer for today is Graham Hill. Will pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. Andrew in Creedmoor, can you hear me? Andrew, are you there?
Yes.
All right, perfect. I got you. I can hear you now. Graham, if you're familiar with the show, I am always a fan of Graham's rejoin music. He surprises me every time. So usually when he's the judge here, we ask the same question. If you had intro music, right? Maybe you're a pitcher and you're a relief pitcher. When you're coming out of the bullpen, you get intro music. What song are you choosing?
Ooh, I'm going to go Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana.
Okay.
Big rock fan.
It's a good one.
All right. Oh, you got a compliment right out the gate. That might be a good showing for you. Jeremy in Apex, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, same question to you. If you were in a sports situation where you needed a intro song, right? You're walking out for a boxing match, you're a relief pitcher, whatever it is, what song are you choosing?
I'm going to go with Enter Sandman by Metallica.
All right, two good answers. There are very, very mainstream answers for this sort of thing. They neither went too far off the beaten path, but Andrew went with Smells Like Teen Spirit. Jeremy went with Enter Sandman, maybe is a Virginia Tech fan. Which one are you rolling with, Graham?
Both are solid options. I feel like the last time I filled in producing, we asked this question, somebody chose Enter Sandman, and I went with that as the winner. So nothing against Jeremy if he is a Hokies fan. I feel like I got to go with Andrew just to make it fair with Smells Like Teen Spirit.
All right, so Nirvana gets Andrew the leadoff spot. Jeremy, don't worry, you'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold for a minute. Andrew, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes.
All right, the categories are NFL players. They are current players with names, meaning first and last, that are 10 letters or less combined. NFL players that were born in Washington State. NBA players with multiple career triple-doubles that are still active. And the final category, NHL Hurricanes only.
All right, I'm going to go NFL 1. The
Okay.
first one.
So these are all players whose first and last names, as they're seen on the rosters, are 10 letters or less combined. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. DJ Moore, Chicago Bears.
12.
Incorrect. CD Lamb, Dallas Cowboys.
17.
Incorrect. DJ Moore, Chicago Bears.
2.
Correct. CJ Stroud, Houston Texans.
7.
Correct. Max Crosby, Las Vegas Raiders.
9.
Incorrect. CD Lamb, Dallas Cowboys.
19.
Incorrect. Max Crosby, Las Vegas Raiders.
3.
Incorrect. CD Lamb, Dallas Cowboys.
Pass.
Cade Otton, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
88.
The 88 is correct. Was it after the buzzer? I'm looking at after the buzzer. I was looking to the judge. Ironically, 88 is also what we were looking for CD Lamb.
Oh my God. Yep.
That's Dallas Cowboys receivers: Drew Pearson, Michael Irvin, Dez Bryant, CD Lamb. 88's always their number. DJ Moore, you got with 2. CJ Stroud, you got with 7. Max Crosby, we were looking for 98. You were a little off on that one. But still, you did get the 2 correct, so we'll see if it holds up. Go ahead and stay on the line.
All right, thank you.
Leader in the clubhouse. That brings us to Jeremy and Apex. Jeremy, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players born in Washington State, NBA players with multiple triple-doubles in their career that are still active, and NHL Hurricanes only.
NHL Hurricanes only.
All right. There is a little bit of kind of – can you turn down your radio? Actually, maybe that's the issue. There is just a little bit of feedback. So if I ask you to say it again, just do it as quickly as you can, okay?
Okay.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. If there is like a dog shaking themselves dry after coming in from a wet day, tell them to stop because that's what it sounded like there for a second. You have one pass if you need it. You need at least 3 for the win. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Alexander Nikishin, Carolina Hurricanes.
97.
Incorrect. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, Carolina Hurricanes.
82.
Correct. Michael Bunting, Carolina Hurricanes.
57.
Incorrect. Alexander Nikishin, Carolina Hurricanes.
20.
Incorrect. Michael Bunting, Carolina Hurricanes.
59.
Incorrect. Alexander Nikishin, Carolina Hurricanes.
21.
Correct. Kevin Westgarth, Carolina Hurricanes.
8.
Correct. Jerome Sampson, Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah, I didn't have much time for that last one. You got Nikishin with 21. You got Jesperi Kotkaniemi with 82. And you got Kevin Westgarth with 8. So that 8 was enough to give you the win. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Michael Bunting, we were looking for 58 is the number we were looking for. And for those of you playing at home, Sampson, we would have accepted 67 or 71. So not a perfect score, but 3 is enough for the win. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead and stand in the line. Graham has some info he needs to grab from you to make sure you get your hour of free tee time at X Golf. So like I said, stay in the line. That was a close. I don't think I realized how hotly contested that was. He needed that last one to get the win. Very very close contest there. By the way, I had a request the other day to just update on the records. Because when people get perfect scores, I go, oh, great score, great time, not a record. And somebody just wanted to know so I said, next time we do it, I will update the record book. The fastest perfect score we've ever had. Remember, you get 30 seconds to fill it out. The fastest one we ever had, 14 and a half seconds. The most recent perfect score we had, I think this can't be this long. I think that one hasn't been updated, so I won't go with that one. Shortest duration between perfect fives? Couple of minutes, right? For a long time, that record was, a couple weeks, but we actually have had multiple double fives where somebody hit a 5 and then the next person hit a perfect score as well, and then the fastest time gets the win. So we've had people lose with a perfect score. Longest duration between 5 for 5s, 55 days. We went almost 2 months without perfect scores. It's been a while since we've been on a drought like that, but let's not test that record. But those are the records that we keep. And I believe we are up to around 50 or 53 perfect scores, 53, 55, something like that in our record book. So there you go. If you're chasing records, 14.5 is the fastest anyone's done it. 14.5 seconds. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break when we come back. Just 28 days. 28 days until Carolina Panthers training camp. We ask our question of the day next.
Hey folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Are you maxed out on credit cards? Maybe you're struggling with high interest debt. You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a massive turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pool up front. Listen, your home equity, it's yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easily low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Call now to get the conversation started. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's Men's Health Month, and WakeMed wants to remind you to protect your skin to reduce your risk for skin cancer, sunburn, and premature skin aging. For any exposed skin, sunscreen should be worn. It should be broad spectrum to fight UVA and UVB rays, an SPF of 30 or higher, and be water resistant. Apply sunscreen 15 minutes prior to exposure and every 2 hours. So whether you are headed out to mow the lawn or to get in 18 holes, make sure you are covered, literally. For more information, visit wakemed.org.
Progressive knows owning a home can be hard, but not always. Like when you're relaxing on your patio, enjoying a nice, quiet evening. So quiet. Except for the sound of the neighbor's party. Which you said you'd go to if you weren't busy. And your quiet night on the patio, that's not exactly busy, is it? Maybe you should just stay inside. At least Progressive's Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance is the easiest part of owning a home. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Hey friends, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for Clayton Homes. And as you know, here in North Carolina, summer's heat up. And so are those deals at the Clayton Homes Sign and Save event. Right now, you can save up to $5,000 instantly on a brand new home. That's $2,500 off a single section or $5,000 off a multi-section home. And you know these homes are built tough in state-of-the-art facilities that protect them during construction. And you know every home is loaded with Energy Smart features, giving you comfort, efficiency, and long-term savings. And with tons of floor plans and fully furnished models, it's easy to find your perfect match. Visit your local Clayton Homes or Oakwood Homes or check out limited time offers now at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. But don't wait. The Clayton Homes Sign and Save event ends August 31st. Terms and conditions for the Sign and Save sales event at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. Available only at participating Clayton Homes family of brands retailers through 8/31. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
Back shoulder to the far side. Jalen Coker. That's a touchdown. Bryce Young to Jalen Coker, the first career touchdown for the rookie from Holy Cross, getting more and more playing time in the rotation at receiver.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. 28 days, 4 weeks until training camp for the Carolina Panthers. How about it? We're getting there. We're getting there one day at a time. What's the Creed, the Rocky movie? one step at a time, one fight at a time, one round at a time. And I'm not going to do it. There is this is information none of you asked for. There is a very specific time for like 6 hours when I've had a cold for like 2 days and I'm getting over it. 6 days where I can do an excellent Rocky impression. I can't do it any other time.
Yeah, I'm going to punch hard.
I mean, I can't do it now. I can't, but there's like day 3 of a cold when I feel better, but there's still a little something going on in my voice. I can hit a Rocky impression perfectly. Other than that, I can't. So I'm not even going to try. What I will try to do is answer our question of the day. 28 days until Carolina Panthers training camp. We ask one question each show, every show, until we hit training camp. The question for today is, who will be the breakout player for the Panthers this season? I have made a slight adjustment on this, which is if you pick the obvious, you lose. Teteroa McMillan. Oh, you mean the 8th overall pick might have some breakout capability? Like that, not going to be allowed. Trevon Merrick. Oh, you mean the big free agency acquisition that's getting paid like $17 million a year? Yeah, no, those guys aren't there. You got to go a little off the beaten path. So it's not just the breakout player, but it's at least slightly unpredictable breakout player is the way I've tweaked this question just a little bit. And I've also done this. This is just for me because I overthink things. I have an offensive and a defensive. All right? Graham, we'll go choose your own adventure. Do you want offense or defense first?
Defense.
All right. Is that like the coin toss?
Yeah. We want to defend first.
Yeah. We'd like to.
Or we like to defer.
We'd like to defer to the second half. All right. They want to receive. We want to defend that side. I've got stories there, but I won't go there. Defensive breakout player, 3rd round pick, 3rd round rookie, Princely Umanmielen. And this is, I will admit, there's a loophole here. Okay. I think he's going to break out. I think he is going to be very popular. I think the fans are going to like him, and I think he is going to become a thing, but not necessarily because he is an exceptional player. I think it's because his role is going to be very narrow, and his role is one that makes stars. Okay? There's a really good quote out there from Will Campbell. Now, the only thing Will Campbell is the 4th overall pick, offensive lineman drafted to the Patriots out of LSU. The only thing I will say is he kind of ricochet-shotted people that work at Amazon, and you know, hey, whatever you got to do, I don't see anything wrong with working for Amazon. But here's what I meant. Here's what he said. He was comparing offensive linemen to defensive linemen, and he said, offensive linemen, if you play great every play except for one, and you give up a sack on that one play in 12 games, you're working for Amazon. If you are a defensive player, an edge rusher, and you don't play that well, but you get 1 sack a game, every game for 12 games, you're a Hall of Famer, right? If that's the pace, if you're 1 sack every game, you only got to play great for 1 play on defense, you're a Hall of Famer, right? If you're walking away, especially in the NFL, 17 sacks a year, do that for 6 years straight, you're donezo, right? Fit me for my jacket. Offensive lineman, you give up a sack a game, your quarterback's not going to be giving you the Rolex that he gives the rest of the offensive linemen at the end of the year. You get what I'm saying? Princely Umanmielen, his role is narrow. He is brought in to get after the quarterback. Nick Scorton, the 2nd round defensive lineman drafted by the Panthers, I believe with his size, there's a few other things they're going to ask him to do. He's going to have to be more of a run stopper at times. He's going to have to set the edge. But Umanmielen, I believe his role is this. Is it 3rd down and long? Princely, get out there. Pin your ears back. Win with speed. Is it 2nd down and 4? Princely, get off the field. Let some of the other guys that are more adept at what we're going to ask them to do on this play get out there. Pass downs, get after the quarterback. Obvious pass situations, get after the quarterback. I think he's going to get a few of them. I think he'll have the flashy stat, which everyone is looking for, which is quarterback pressures, quarterback hits, and quarterback sacks. I'm thinking like 7.5 sacks, which is a ton for a third-round rookie. And then next year, you're going to see a lot of Uman Mielen jerseys, and he's going to be a breakout player because he did the flashy thing. Right? You might have someone out there that hits 30 doubles, or you can have a guy that hit 15 home runs. The fans are going to flock to the home runs, right? You can have a guy out there that makes a whole bunch of run stuffs and sets the edge and keeps running backs and quarterbacks from getting to the outside and does everything that an edge does, but only ends with 2 sacks. Nobody's going to remember their name except the coaching staff and the GM. But if you're out there and you're just to get after the quarterback guy and you get him on the ground 8 times in a season, people are going to remember you. So I think Uman Mielen has breakout potential there. And there's a lot of assuming there, right? Obviously, we don't know what their roles are going to be. That's my assumption based on what I've watched them in college. Offensively, I wasn't wrong last year. I was early. Jatavian Sanders, tight end, 4th-round pick, first pick of the 4th round a season ago. He was my breakout pick last year. I wasn't wrong. I was early. I will go down with the ship on this one. I will die on this hill. Pass-catching tight ends are notoriously slow starting in their career. Okay, you can go find your favorite tight end. If it's not Sam Laporta or Brock Bowers, there's a good chance they started slow in their career. Their first year, their second year, they had to ramp up. If you're talking Kelsey, if you're talking any of those guys, Kittle, it wasn't obvious from the beginning. And I'm not saying Jatavian Sanders is that. I'm just saying tight end is a position where there is a steep learning curve and not many show up ready to contribute. You have to be a freak like Brock Bowers, and even Laporta came back down to earth his second year. Jatavian Sanders, the reports are out there. He dropped 10 pounds. But I promise you, this breakout choice is not because of best shape of your life season, where everybody's talking about how he got in shape and he gave up fast food. I would have said this if he showed up the exact same weight as last year. He had a couple nagging, kind of annoying injuries last year. Didn't miss a ton of games, but didn't finish a couple, and probably wasn't 100% for a few games. So I think if he stays healthy, that's big. And also, it's a role. His role on this offense is one that can and should be expanded. Bryce Young needs safety blankets. Last year, it was Adam Thielen is his safety blanket. It appears as if they've brought in a bunch more safety blankets. They have a 6'4+ wide receiver. The safety blanket there, you can always throw it up to Teteroa McMillan. I know it's at a significantly insignificant, ready for that? Significantly insignificant investment. They brought in Hunter Renfrow, guy getting open within 4 yards of the line of scrimmage with routes. What is that? That's a safety blanket. And also, your tight end should always be a safety blanket. Should always be over the middle, should always be working the seam, should always be working the spot routes, the stick routes, should be working option routes. Jatavian Sanders and Bryce Young, they should be 2 peas in a pod. So when I say he breaks out, last season, Jatavian Sanders had 33 catches, 342 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, I think it's quite possible he doubles all of that, and more so the touchdowns. 33 receptions. If he has 60, I wouldn't be crazy. 50, though, is probably a more realistic breakout. Something like 600-700 yards. I think that's realistic. And then, I mean, obviously you'd want him to double 1 touchdown. Something like 4 makes a little bit of sense to me. If Jatavian Sanders has 50 catches, 660 yards, and 4 touchdowns, that shows me that the right parts of his game are being developed, the right relationships are being developed, he's being trusted, and then everything I said hyping him up last year that maybe didn't quite come true, I'd be even more confident moving forward. I think Jatavian Sanders is a really good player, is what I'm getting at. I loved him coming out of Texas. I said, if he's there in the 4th, you go get him. And they went and got him with the number 1 pick in the 4th round, and I went, genius. And now I need him to make us all right. So if you're looking for a breakout player, and that's a little off the beaten path, right? I'm not going to sit here and say McMillan. I'm not going to sit here and say Bryce, right? I'm going to be a little bit more deep than that. I'm going Jatavian Sanders on the offensive side. And also, part of this would have to be co-signed by Dave Canales. He's got to call some plays where Jatavian Sanders has some leverage, right? He's not gonna catch 700 yards of offense if he's always the third option, right? Occasionally on a play action or something, you have to let him beat his guy and trust him to beat his guy as a first or second option. And then secondly, as we said, defensively, Princely Uman-Mielen is where I'm going. Graham, do you have any you'd like to add or any you'd like to critique about my options?
No critiques. I just want to see Jalen Coker continue to develop. That's the reason why I came out with. That's the reason why I came into this segment with the highlight of his first career touchdown last year. I mean, look, for Bryce Young, you can never have too many options, right? And that's kind of the whole theme and the moral of this season, right? Is you have all these options, so you got to be able to do something with it.
There is a little-known stat. This is where my fantasy dynasty nerddom comes out. First downs per route run. So it's how many first downs you catch per how many routes you ran. It's pretty simple. Jalen Coker, elite. And the guys at the top, it is on much bigger volume, the guys you would think. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, all of those guys. Jalen Coker's up there with them. So there's something happening there if they can get higher volume. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to Graham for keeping us up and running today. All of our producers, as we kind of shuffle them around this time of year, have been doing a great job, and Graham once again did today. Follow us on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. I need to remember to remind you of that. 99.9 The Fan. Search for it. Find the videos you like. Subscribe, all those sorts of things. Draft coverage, round 2 of the NBA draft, 2 hours from now. So stick around. It'll be right here on 99.9 The Fan. Until tomorrow, have a great day, everybody. We'll be back to wrap out your week at 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Evan, Kenty, and Michelle are